Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Toga Motorsport. We have another race for you tonight. This is the first in the series of 24 in 2.4, so that is a 24-hour race in 2 hours 40 minutes, plus maybe one lap. So yeah, timing is essentially multiplied by 10 in game. For the race, and we will see overnight running as well as daytime running in the same race in a very short space of time compared to what it should be. So that is what we have tonight. There is I say a mix of cars. We currently only have one GT4 on the grid. We'll see if anybody else joins for the qualifying sessions. But it is GT3s, GT4s. Oh, there is also a GT2. Sorry, I didn't spot that tag there. There is one Mercedes GT4. No, sorry. One Mercedes GT2 and one Aston Martin GT4. Which are that one and that one. So that is what's going to be running for this race at the moment. As I say, it's a stacked. We had 50 cars joining, signed up for the race. So we shall have 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours 40 minutes. So what's that? I thought it was 2 hours 20 minutes because it's 2.4 hours. Or is it 2? We'll find out when the clock happens. But either way, it is an overnight. It is in game twice around the clock, and we shall give this one a go. So yeah, it is only myself on comms tonight. Hayden might grace us with his presence at some point, but I wouldn't guarantee it. So yeah, as I say, just catching the end of practice. Don't read too much into it, but the Bentley of Bella Gajan has managed to go Yellow Submarine Squad. What a name with a bright yellow Bentley. Has gone faster than 45.115. So yeah, just letting the last couple of cars come across the line. Some fantastic coloured liveries in this one. There are some genuinely beautiful looking cars out there tonight. So we shall see what's going on there. So yes, hello chat, hello YouTube, Twitch, etc. Do come joining as we are starting for qualifying. So 15-minute session for GT4s and GT2s to run out. So that is just the two cars at the moment. We'll see if anybody does go and move and how quickly they do move. And go from there. What a monster of a noise. The Mercedes, I'm going to get Mercedes. It's going to be one of those nights where I'm getting my M's mixed up. Mercedes and McLaren get... yeah, so the Mercedes GT2 is off out, so unlike the GT3 variant, this thing has the big... this has the 4-litre twin-turbo engine. It's still pushing nearly 700, just over 700 horsepower at the thing, and why has my ACC has just done a weird... I do apologise. Bear with us just a minute. I'm gonna flick some things around on here. The server has completely died. Right. There has been a whole bunch of stuff happen. Thank you very much for all of this. Some warning would have been wonderful. But it looks like the server is being rebooted for... Okay. Apologies for all of this. I am just gonna... Something's gone a bit funky with the server. Okay, no, it looks like it might be back up and running. Apologies for all of this. We shall get back to things as soon as possible. There we go. So a couple of minutes briefly of practice again, just so that if anybody goes out. I now need to reboot a whole bunch of stuff on my end to get all the timing sheets and everything working. Yeah, well, we'll go with that. The mug went out and won. We'll call it that. It's alright. These things happen. The joys, you don't get the mechanical failures of and what have you so much in this game of turbos going pop or gearboxes letting go. But what you do get is random things going funky with the server. So this is always the funsies of this of racing online, or your computer halfway through the race decides it's going to do an update and kicks you out of the game. That's always fun. So yes, we shall just jump in, and I know all of you are probably moaning about the field of view there, but hey ho, that's because that's how we run. Cool. So there's not going to be a split quali. It will be everybody for it themselves. So yes, I shall. What have we got out there? Yeah, sorry, we've still got the Merc out there. I think the GT4. It's all right. Don't worry, it happens. It was just a bit of a surprise because I was commentating on what was going on, and then suddenly the stream ran away. The server ran away. But hey ho. So yeah, we've got like a minute left of practice now, and we'll jump into a free-for-all quali session. So that will be everybody out on track at once. Make yourself space. Interesting pet entrance on this track. It is. I can do this. Yes, this is a fun thing to do. I'll show you that whilst you do that. It's a standard issue US Class 2, Class 3. Really short run in. Although not as bad as Paul Ricard, but you do have to make sure you stay tight on the inside. Rule for tonight is that as long as you must keep all four wheels inside that yellow line all the way down from its start to its. It starts up here, just before the start of the corner, and I've just flown through the track, all the way through to the entrance here, and then zoom down to the end. Much the same on exit. Keep all four wheels on this side of the yellow line until you have crossed that white line at the end. So I'm just gonna do this and do this. No, that one. That one. There we go. As we have started qualifying. First few cars are just rolling out the pits now. So yeah, as I was saying about the Mercedes earlier, is it runs the 4-litre engine rather than the 6.2. You can basically buy this car. It is an optional extra that you can tick in terms of box of, I would like this car with a GT2 race pack, which basically strips the car out, gives it massive rear wing and a roll cage and the relevant fire safety stuff. And that's about it. Otherwise, it is essentially a road car underneath that. It is basically the road-going car. I'm not entirely sure it would have been my choice, but it does sound good, and it is very, very fast in a straight line. It clocks... I think it clocks almost 290 kilometers an hour at Paul Ricard, if you trim the ever-living snot out of the car, of what little aero the car has, to go as fast as possible. And yes, it is insanely fast in a straight line in comparative to the GT2. twos. So down the back straight is going to be interesting. How it handles in the corners, it's not going to be able to stop as well, anywhere near as well as the GT3s. I'm not entirely sure it's going to be able to stop quite as well as the GT4s. Like I say, it makes up for it for having no lack of straight line speed. There is a Aston Martin GT4 that's out there as well, that will be going out shortly. Nobody has managed to set a legal lap. Watkins Glen, it's a fantastic track. It's proper old school style circuit, used by all sorts of vehicles. NASCAR I think IndyCar come here, I can't remember. NASCAR certainly do. They don't use the boot section that we're just coming out the top of now. But yeah, they do run the rest of the circuit. It's, again, you see a layout of the track and it looks deceptively simple. It's not. It's really fast. It's up and down, over crests, and it's really, really fast. It may be one of the lowest corner count circuits on... I think it's one of the lowest corner count circuits on the SRO calendar out worldwide. But it is by no means a straightforward circuit. Man, might sign as a reserve next time. Fair enough. You in the GT4 then? Or are you in... I believe tyre wear and fuel are as normal. It's only the time that is multiplied by 10. So it would have... Your fuel and tyres are an hour-ish or so, and your but the weather and all of the in-game time when we get to the race will be a flat 30. Will be a flat 10 time multiplier. So, Mr. No, that is Mondaisy. Sorry, yes. Damn it. You have VM, sorry, I just seen your... you have just gone fastest with a 1:45.05. No, you've just been eclipsed. Okay, this is going to be some quick times. 44.52572 for Linz here in the Mantis Linz Project 91 Car 92 Porsche has just set the fastest lap without 44.527. Mondaisy in second with a 45.025, so half a second there to find. They're currently just losing time. I'm assuming you made a small mistake that we haven't seen, but you are falling back in time on time there, second and a half back, so I'm guessing you're going to go for it next time round. Who is out there and on an improvement? Let's have a look and see who we can find. Fusey in the Aston Martin. Ooh, that is a good... That's an interesting colour. The burgundy and the green and the white. That is a very good colour. You are on a sizable improvement. 7/10 up on your current time. 2 seconds, pretty much 2 seconds flat off the lead. Your previous best was 46.612. As Gajan has gone second with a 44.855 in the Bentley there. So we'll just see this car through to the end of its lap as it's coming through towards the last couple of corners now. Penultimate corner into the last corner. It really is just... No, that was the last corner. My bad. That was... Jumped you into ninth, the 44.965. So... yeah, lap times are coming in and it is looking like it's going to be close. Who else? You're on a heck of a... Roman? We're going to go with Roman because I can't pronounce your surname. Raptor Virtual Racing. You are 6 and a bit tenths up on your previous best of 45.946. So aiming to get into the mid to low 45s, so that's going to jump you a good few places. If you can hold this, I say that, is this going to be one of those nights when it is Curse of the Commentator is strong with me. You were 7 tenths and you're now 3 tenths off. Either way, it's going to be an improvement of some form. So reasonable. Jumps you into 7th with a 145.615. So as Mondelezi goes second, breaks into the 44s with a 44.810. Brackstad goes third, 44.820. So literally 100 between those two cars. Right? It's going to be one of those, isn't it? It's going to be one of those ones where everybody is going to be within a gnat's breath of each other. Yeah, because then it is 44.855 for Gajan in the Bentley, 44.890 for Lazar in the Aston Martin. Belinsky's is 45.040, so that's the top 6 covered by just over half a second. Then it's about a tenth and a half back to Van Niemann in the BMW with a 145.912. And the first car over a second back is 45.615 of Roman Bobra? I apologise, I'm having a right nightmare with names tonight. So yeah, the top 8 covered by barely over half a second. Awesome. The other RBR beer team car is the BMW that has just gone into 8th. Who else is out there on a flyer that's legal? Together? Gonna go with that. You're not on a legal lap, but you're half a second up, so if you're gonna hook that up and make it legal, that'll be a good old chunk time up. That will jump you up the grid. 6 tenths, 7 tenths for Fusey now. And that was a mistake out of that. That was track limits, and that's not gonna stick. Van Niemann actually is 6 tenths up. Can you jump your teammates, the other half of your team out there with this? So 6.5 tenths up, coming into penultimate corner now. Still about 6 tenths up. Gonna make it, and you go into third, 44.60660. There we go, well done. Not bad on the BMW for that car. 2 Porsches on the front row. See if anybody can split them. We have Linz, Brackstad are the 2 top cars with 0.045 between them. I mean, if anybody can split them, I think that's almost more impressive than beating them, because that is a tiny, tiny gap between the 2 of them. But certainly that is a decent time. There is a few cars that have opted not to go out. Daryl Hasker. That is an interesting name. I don't know if you are related to the Hesketh of Hesketh Racing, and Carlin in the Aston Martin. I mean, to be fair, you're going to be starting pretty well at the back of the grid anyway, so you may as so setting a quali lap isn't necessarily that important. Davis in that Mercedes is actually doing alright. It's got 46.617, so out there in the Soul GT2 tonight. We'll see who else makes it. That's not a bad time in one of those cars, in all honesty. My own times, I would be struggling to get into the bottom half of this grid. To be completely honest, my GT3 times are around the mid to low 46s. So, yeah, that's the other reason we're not fast, so we commentate. I mean, I'm not surprised you're the fastest through Sector 1. It's basically the most flat-out bit of the circuit. It's turn 1, turn 2, 3, 4, up through the S's up through onto the top of the hill here, and then it is flat out down this top straight. Yeah, 45s and a Lexus, that's not bad. I mean, the Lexus is a good car. We considered joining in with this series, but as it turns out, if we had joined in with it, there wouldn't be anybody commentating tonight. So, yeah, there will be 45s and 46, 45, 46, yeah. Like I say, there are some quick cars. We'll see how it happens. Obviously, the track is going to change quite a lot. Yes, it is. Quite a lot overnight. That's going to be the bit that's going to be really curious. Obviously, with 10 times on the weather, I believe it's 10 times on the weather, which means overnight the temperatures are going to drop. So there's potentially going to be some really big temperature fluctuations for these cars to deal with throughout their stints. So from when they start, if you can, you might be able to do it on one stop. I think most people will probably do two, unless, depending on how your car is feeling. Some of the cars that are better on fuel than others will opt to try for that one stop, but you do run the risk of having to do a splash right at the end and lose a massive chunk of time there. But you'll know that before you get to the end of the first half. You'll know whether you're going to have enough fuel to do one stop anyway. But 12 hours in, it's going to be middle of the night, and potentially that's going to be very cold compared to what we have now at 22 and 26 for air and track temperatures. That's potentially going to drop down quite a lot and quite quickly overnight, as that Mercedes just absolutely rails those curbs. So yeah, it's good, good fun. I'm just following this one. You've got one of the Noobs R Us logos on your car. I don't know if you normally race with Noobs R Us and you're just running under the Dive Bomb Motorsport team name for this one, but either way, that's also a bit of an, or is that Good Smile? There's an element of Good Smile Racing on that livery as well, so that's rather cool. As you have just RCG'd. Back to the important things, which is times. Is anybody gonna... Wow! I just randomly blather on about all sorts of random stuff, and the lap times go through the floor. So, run you through the top few cars tonight. Just got home, typical no practice for me. Come join in, it'll be fine. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, just in 6 hours of Nürburgring in 1 hour, it was wet, dry every 10 to 15 minutes, the temperature fell through the floor, it was such a... Oh dear. No, there is no pit stop rules. You have one mandatory pit stop for fuel and tyres. Obviously, to be fair, I don't think none of these cars were going to do this. On less than one stop. So that's all good. So yeah, one pit stop, mandatory. But yes, back to the times. 44.090. Can anybody... Okay, challenge if anybody is watching this from the top sort of 3 or 4 cars, top 5 I guess, if you manage to hook it up. Can any of you break the 43s? Even if it's a 43.999, I'm still going to count it. Can any of you break into the 43s? The lap time currently to beat is 44.090. Mondlesi in second with a 44.347. Laza 44.397. Romeo 44.532. Berlinski's is 44,552. Braxtad 44,572. So, yeah, the gaps are seriously close for this one. McLaren, maybe. Bentley, I think it's whether you've got 120 litres of fuel to play with or not. I think if you've got 120 to play with, you're probably alright without having to do too much fuel saving. If you're running with something that's got a bit less than that, I think you might have to do some fuel saving to do this on one stop. I'm new to racing, so each time I went to the pits, they gave me more fuel and ended the race with 119 litres. 119 litres of fuel on board. Well, you're going to end up starting with something like that. Depending on what you're in, that could be good, it could be bad. You might end up with... Okay, you were listening, whether you were listening or not. 43.980 is the fastest lap. Gajan in the Bentley has gone 44.177. So, can we get more than one car into the 43s? It's a tall order, but I've kind of want to say I've got faith in you lot to manage to do this. It's a good game. See who can properly send it. It's quali. You've got 11 and a bit minutes to go. I don't know if you have a tyre allocation, so if there is one, don't throw too many tyres at this. Let's see how fast and unhinged you lot can get. Speaking of which, that Porsche of Linz is 0.2 up on their previous best. So currently aiming for 10th and a half up. No, back up to about 0.2 coming through the toe of the boot now. If you can beat your own time and go even further into the 43s, more power to you. Hello, David. Barbecue possum. That's... Why has his name's just gone out of my way? That's Barry, isn't it? I didn't know if you were going to make it. Is that Barry? I can't remember who Barbecue Possum is. Apologies. If you are running in this, please let us know what your name is. We've got a couple of cars haven't set times. As I said, the GT4 hasn't, and Daryl in the McLaren hasn't set time. So that's that. This was an optional 1 or 2 driver race for this one. Hello. It was an optional 1 or 2 drivers for this one. You could do it solo. You could do it as a team. So there's no minimum stint time or anything like that. Nothing too major. So we shall see how this pans out and how this goes. Yeah, Lentz did manage to go even faster, 43.877. And you're going back out for another go? I mean, there's 9 and a bit minutes to go, and you're only 3/10 back, so... yeah, just a bit messy into the pits, sure. It's all new to me, RTG. If you RTG, it can do your pit strat. So, put the fuel on strat 2, then no need to remember to change it before pit. Hoggers Racing best team. Indeed. Where is... Some of you have changed drivers. Alberto Yusa? I hope I've got that name right. Yeah, no, this one's an easy one to pick up drive-throughs on. Practicing. To be fair, practicing entry and exit is always something that's worth doing and worth making sure you have got under your belt. White Aston Martin, Daniel De Hoyers. I've just noticed you are 0.520 back, and you're currently 5/10. Oh, this is going to be tight. Almost 5/10 up. Crosses the line now. Why didn't that count? That was odd. That was a legal lap, yet it didn't count. I think my race control might be doing some screwy things. Wonderful. Oh, that's helpful. Anybody on a legal lap that's well up apart from this one? User in the VM Motorsports car is up. I think it's starting to tail off. As I say, that Mercedes has got the fastest first sector. Fastest second sector goes to Romeo in the Aston Martin. Third sector goes to Usa in the, or possibly David in the Ferrari with in that car. The leader doesn't actually have the fastest outright 3 sectors. It's just they don't lose, as they are clearly fast enough over an average, which actually hopefully is going to be a good thing for them, because it'll be consistency at that point that you need, especially for these slightly longer and even more long-form races. You are over a second up. You're about a second up on your time. If this sticks, that's going to be flat-out impressive. Last corner, it's legal, or at least it's legal on my screen. Doesn't go up there. 7/10 up, and you're 5/10 back, and it's not counting. For some bizarre reason, you are still sat in 5th, even though my screen is saying you're going significantly faster. Unless you've changed drivers and it's your... That may be... Thanks, hope Alberto improves. It's now with better conditions. And he's a bit faster. Yeah, I mean, time will tell. Like I say, this is going to be an interesting one. For that. Why am I looking at stint time? That's not actually that helpful, is it? Because it's that's what it is. Like the Bentley, yeah, it's not bad. You can either use low. So okay, during qualifying, you get 1 lap in. Let's go Bentley. Got to support my boys. What's the strat here? Highway. It's an interesting one. I would say possibly. Ooh, you're gonna wish we didn't see that on camera. That was all over the curbs and into the wall. I mean, fair enough. I guess you can just run through the garage. There's 4 or so minutes left. Either you just park it and call it, or go from there. That was an interesting... yeah, you're probably going to trim the car out something like you would for Monza here. It's a bit of an awkward one, because the car will... If you set the car too low, it will bottom out here. There's enough... the track's rough enough, and there's enough crests and height changes that you're liable to bottom the car out a little bit if you run the car too low. Commentators goes, yeah, unfortunately it seems to be really strong with us. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't think there's... Finley, you're the only one currently out on a flyer. Just over 2.5 tenths up in that Garage 59 McLaren. A little bit of a slide over the curbs, catches it across the exit on the last one, rolls it down to the hill. camera does not do this track justice in some ways. That corner is downhill, barely cambered in the right direction to not at all in the right direction on the exit. And it is a horrible one for loading the tyres up. So it's not easy as you drop down, and then similarly as you come up through the toe here, you're braking very late uphill whilst turning, rolling out of the brakes and trying to get on the gas as early as you can and trying not to lose the back end in the process. The boot section is probably one of the hardest sections on this track to get right because there is so much going on all the time. You come up over a crest and then you're back downhill slightly, you're coming back up to join the main track. Up through the corner coming out of that section is completely blind. You are pointing the car at where you hope there was an apex and hope nothing is sat there on the apex in the way. As O'Reilly goes 15th, 1:45.542. So down to the last couple of minutes, there's nobody currently on an improvement at the moment. So let's do a quick run through of how things stand. Romeo just spotted that. Peter Romeo in the Aston for Toga. You have gone 43.745. Linz in the Porsche is 43.807. Gajan 44.177. Have not managed to improve that lap time. Looks like they're on an outlap as we speak. Usa is 44.217. Let's go busy or insane here. Yeah, that's not a time to be sniffed at in the slightest. The fact that you've got somebody else sniffing down you, breathing down the back of your neck, nipping at your heels if you like, with 0.062 between the top two cars. It's nuts. So De Hoy's... Okay, I've got one name and then another name, and I'm assuming you're on an outlap and it hasn't changed over on race control because it being a... Anyway, either way, 44.397. Van Niemen 44.420. Berlinski is 44.470, 44.572 for Brackstad. Is that Samuel? I'm assuming, given that that's a Porsche, I haven't seen an entry list, so I'm assuming either a possible relation. Either way, a Mercedes. I'm going to do that all night. Glen? It's not Batten. Marcus, we're going to go with that because I can't pronounce names tonight. 44.972. We're going to stay with you because you're possibly a second up. I haven't seen whether that is another driver in the car, whether they have swapped drivers or not, so we'll stick with you to the end because this is going to be your last lap and it's showing a second up on your lap time. So if you can improve your lap time, that is going to be a good thing for you. And that's going to jump you a long way up. No, doesn't improve. I'm assuming they did a quick driver swap just to get used to doing all of that and get some laps in themselves. There's a few cars yet to cross the line, but I don't think there's anything major. Laza has just gone not legal on that lap. Van Niemen goes across the line to finish, goes 4th, 44.022. Earlier on in the session, that would have put you on pole. Unfortunately, it's only good enough for 4th at this point. So, that is how things stand. I'm guessing the race is going to start at about 10 AM in-game time. Last couple of cars coming across the line. Marsh in the McLaren. The last one. You are the last one out there, and you crossed the line. 46.372 at the current was your best that you could manage there. So, that things will now adjust and sort out for the race, and we shall run you through the runners and riders and see how we do. Yes, Peter Watkins was your track. Yeah, that was a hell of a lap time to have managed that one. So, I'm just going to push all the buttons now and make sure this works. So, running down through the grid as we have, it is Romeo in the car number 12 Aston Martin from Lintz? Mantus? I'm going to hope that's right. Car 92 in the Ferrari, in the Porsche, sorry. Yusa in the Ferrari, car 129 in third. Fourth is Van Niemen RVR, car 81 BMW. Gajan is car 531 Bentley in fifth. Sixth is Laza in another of the Aston Martins, car 891. Balanskis is car 818 in seventh. Eighth is Braxtad 123 Porsche. Bertolunga number 2 Mercedes. Vanderbroek car 226. Barbara car 30 in 11th. Hesketh car 91 Porsche. Excuse me. Camper car 187 in McLaren. Davis in the Soul GT2 in 14th in car number 13. Wilson in 15th with in car 69. O'Reilly in car 59 in 16th. Fusey in 17th, 991 Aston Martin. That's not going to be confusing in the slightest. Morris, I've got Morris but Marsh on the screen. I don't know if I've got getting these right. I'm going to go off of what it says on the screen because that's going to be the driver that's in the car, not the one that's on the timing screens. So that is Marsh in the McLaren. Nikita in car 88 in 19th. Ganley in car 190. Hicks in car 65 in 21st. Olsen in 22nd. In car 66. Arapad Toth? That's a tricky one. Car 444 McLaren. Darrell in the McLaren car 50 in 24th. 25th is car 741 of Dennis Carlin in the Soul GT4. I hope that made some sense, and I hope I got most of those right, as we are rolling for the formation lap, as Romeo has scampered away there at the start of this formation lap. Obviously going for a nice quick one, not burn too much fuel, and get on with actually getting the race started. So, Hesketh has managed to pick up a 10-second penalty during qualifying. Well done for that. What was that for? 10 seconds, car 97, unsafe rejoin causing collision with car 2. Well done, my friend, that is a skill to pick up a penalty in qualifying. Oh joy. So, Watkins, narrow, barriers on both sides. We do have red flag, so we shall see what happens there. There may be the need for one. I hope there isn't, mostly because this is quite a long race and we've got to go through the whole rigmarole of doing the start again. So we'll try not to, but standard red flag rules apply. More than 20% of the grid in the first 2 sectors in a single-ish accident. In a single accident in the first 2 sectors will be classed as a red flag and we'll restart everything. I mean, it's Watkins, it's a bit of a 50-50. If you can, there's enough runoff area in the first corner, but it's making sure you're all neat and tidy through the S's going up the hill. Turn 2, 3 and 4. That's going to be the tricky bit. For everybody, so yeah. Good luck everyone. Yep, indeed. Fuel calculated to 280 litres, so 2 stops for sure. Yeah, probably. It depends on whether you were able to save any fuel in that or not. I mean, if you can save enough to go beyond halfway, more than a lap beyond halfway, then you are good to fulfill for the end of the race. But yeah, 2 stops. It's going to be interesting to see who has to do 2 stops and who's starting behind the GT2. Awesome. Forgot to make it. Well, that's your own fault. It's fully your own fault. If you're doing this on your own, well, that's going to suck. If you didn't, then if you're not doing this on your own, then whenever you pit for fuel, you can go and make a brew after that. As we are 2 by 2 now for the start, as the Porsche just desperately trying to get some heat into those front tyres. Oof, that one's going to suck if you try to one-stop that car. Because the front end of that car is going to go from being royally heavy to royally light. Everybody is all there trying to get the last little bits of heat and tyres, brakes and everything. Pressure starts to mount. As I say, this gets interesting. With that GT2 buried in the pack, this is going to be an interesting one into the first corner. I have a feeling it may make up a few places just on brute force down the pit strike across the top. And if it doesn't get ensnared in traffic and can get through it, it will be seriously quick through this first sector. As we are racing, and Romeo goes back a place straight away from Van Niemen. Van Niemen-Lintz in the Porsche. Drops straight back on that one. As the Porsche runs it round the outside. Has the Aston got the legs on the exit to make anything happen? Why am I not getting any... that's the one I want. As we look, oh, we've got some yellow flags in the back there. What has happened? That is not too big of a smash by the looks of things. Looks like that car number 2 got caught up in all of that one. What happened there? I think this was a car that was involved. Let's see what happens. On the brakes. Oh, Mercedes dives in, gets it all swirled up, and then the other Mercedes has an issue on its own across the curb, collects a couple of cars. That was a big hit on the barrier for car number 2 on the inside there. That's going to be a lot of damage to deal with. Otherwise, I think everybody else managed to get out reasonably unscathed. That is the one downside to this track. Why are you saying it? You're in second place. Oh, probably because not everybody has crossed a timing line as of yet, because race control is a bit weird sometimes. Wonderful, as this battle at the front is still continuing, as Davis in that GT2, Mercedes is booting it to try and catch back up. We have a slow car on track. That is O'Reilly. I'm not sure what happened to you there. Are you diving for the pits? No, you're not. We do have some callers by the looks of things. The Aston GT4 is diving for the pits. That GT2 Mercedes I'm going to assume is diving for the pits, because that thing's not going to be driving happily at all. That's going to have some wonky bits of suspension. My driving is impeccable, thanks. Bags in a racing car. When? What? I don't know what that means. But yes, this is as we have. Oh, you've run it deep into the hairpin and dropped back. By the looks of things, Olsen running steadily by the looks of things. So that's not doing too badly. I am getting entirely lost trying to keep track of everything. As I say, this will be live stewarded for the first little bit, and then it will be for the first 30 minutes, and then it will be report-based stewarding from then on. As this battle with Romeo hasn't managed to get back past that Porsche. So maybe that Porsche just enjoying its fresh tyres, using what it's got, and then hopefully if the Aston has got something towards the end of its tyres, will be able to fight back when that Porsche starts to struggle with either fronts or rears or both. Wilson looking for a move on Hesketh there. Right up behind them. Hicks in car 65's dropped back against Fusey. Davis in that GT2 is currently in swell. Porsche manages to hold it up around the inside and then the outside, loses out in the end to that McLaren through the bus stop there, gets outbraked and outdriven there. Very nicely done, very well done indeed from that car. From Mr. Wilson there, and is now well ahead, is away and clear by the looks of things, well and truly, tune of 0.7 of a second. As I say, check on the other classes. Yeah, GT2 is up into 12. Even with the, I mean, it's not really got exactly a lot of aero to get disrupted, so it's probably not driving any worse than it already did. O'Reilly now on the back of Hicks, chasing down there as Mondesi. What happened to you? You've got absolutely trashed. I must down in 20 seconds. You have dropped a long way back. I'm assuming you got collected in something that we didn't see, as Arapad has been. Top GRS Racing? Okay. Has been passed by Fusies there. Sorry, I'm struggling with names as usual. O'Reilly has got past Hicks. Daryl is trading places now with Paravit? Paul? Apologies. Some of your names are spectacular. We have got some new commentators. Hopefully they might be a little bit better with some of these names. We'll see. O'Reilly is trading places. That Mercedes just got grunt on the bulk power on the straight line. Gets a little bit brake checked into the bus stop. But it is all good there. As Daryl is overtaken by Mondesi there, is recovering back up with that one. Hicks O'Reilly battle is definitely not over, that's still going. Strong dives up the tries to go around the outside of the toe, can pinch the Mercedes on the exit and get the better drive out. Yes, you can, very nicely done. That's the other joys of that corner being a little bit cambered, is you can do that, but that Mercedes stuck on the inside, nowhere to go, has to get on the brakes really early, and that is away and through. Roman now in the RVR Ferrari. on the tail of Hesketh in that black Porsche. I did sync liveries like 3 times about half an hour before we were due to come on air. So apologies if nothing has worked. Like I say, I synced everything as best as I could. I'm signed up to everything, so it made some new ones, and yeah. Apologies if your livery isn't coming through. Hopefully it will come through for the next one. That's good. Romeo, right on the tail, just can't quite make anything stick on that. Mercedes on the Porsche can't quite catch up. Very clean racing by the two of them, but yeah, obviously with how close it was in qualifying, we're talking in terms of thousandths between each of these cars. Although it was a couple of tenths in favour of Romeo at the on the last lap. Van Niemann in the BMW has the fastest lap overall at the moment with a 45.085, so putting an absolutely sterling job down there, but does have Gajan for company in the Bentley. As Olsen has got past Ganley for position there, so very well done. I don't know if we have any Olsen fans in chat, but that is how Olsen is doing. Currently in 13th in the Ferrari. So a bit of a change from what we've seen previously in the Bentley. Has now improved, gets past Marsh nice and cleanly there as well, and is now on the tail of that GT2. This is going to be an interesting one to see how you can handle, the drivers handle this thing. Because as you can see, it just pulls away in a straight line. And then as soon as you get on the brakes, you're right underneath its rear wing. So, how this is handled, I don't know by the drivers. It will be interesting to see. As Marsh is tumbling down the order. That car doesn't look quite as fresh as it did when it started. So, there may be some damage on that one that we can't necessarily see all that well. Can we see anything with one of the TV cams? The front of the car looks right. I'm not convinced the back of the car is entirely healthy. It's a high out. Yeah, no, okay, that's had its diffuser smashed up. That would explain why it's dropping back. Having that kind of chunks missing from your diffuser is not the best. As we have Gajan now on the tail of Van Niemann in that BMW, chasing that one down. These two are chasing down the leaders, so if the leaders start to fight, it's going to bring these two in, but if these two fight too much, it's going to leave the top two a chance to run away. How are we doing elsewhere on the grid? As the Aston is in the pits. How long has that been in the pits for? You've only completed 1 lap. Did you just opt to park it and call it? Fair enough. Arapat out there in the McLaren, just running around on the tail of Paravich. How many entries? We have 23 currently running on track. 24 total. It looks like the sole Aston GT4 has parked it for this one, as there was basically going to end up being a 2 hours or so, 2 hour 40-minute hot lap session, whilst being overtaken by absolutely everything. Yes, we have managed to avoid all the red flags. I thought we had, but I'm not 100% sure. I didn't entirely see what time it started. What are we? We're now coming up half an hour in. No, I believe there is. Is there a time multiplier? I don't know. We shall see how it goes. obviously things will just run their course now. We are well into this race, so it will be whatever it will be. We have a couple of penalties come through for various cars. 10 seconds for car 13, causing a collision on lap 1 with car 2. 5 seconds for car 88, lap 1, not holding brakes when spun out, nearly colliding with other cars. Rules are rules. Oh, the big slide for Arapad there. Who else is out there? Olsen, still on the back of this Mercedes. Now, it's going to be fun in a straight line, because you're going to get a hell of a tow from that thing. But it's trying to get past it, because it will just drive away from you in a straight line. And, like I say, right under the rear wing now, going up through the S's, and you can see it just gaps away. We'll follow this one with the helicam. Yeah, the car just pulls away in a straight line, and the tow's broken almost straight away. There, as we see, Romeo still holding point 3. Van Niemen, however, is starting to catch up. He's down to about almost half a second now, the gap between Van Niemen and Romeo. So Romeo going to have to start looking in his mirrors a little bit very soon. For these two cars, it looks like Gajan and Van Niemen are not really going for it in terms of trying to do anything silly. They're just holding station for now and catching the cars in front and possibly see who can capitalise on what when the time comes. Like I say, that gap has come down by about 4 tenths, 4 to 5 tenths now. Over the course of this one, Olsen looking all over the back of that Mercedes, just can't quite make anything stick. Now has Fusey on tail for company. I want to do the Rocky series. Keep an eye out for season 9. There will be a. There we go. As the GT2 possibly lifted, possibly not. Went 3 wide. Oh, that was, speaking of 3 wide. Mondelezi and Ganley there going 3 wide with the Mercedes on the way into turn 1 there as well. Go through the middle. I think that GT2 realised it was a little bit of a cork in the bottle there and just left the let the other cars go. But he just starts to catch a straight line. Actually had to check up on the brakes slightly there before the braking zone, just so they didn't run into the back of them. Yeah, that car's quick. Gajan Van Niemen now has dropped back a little bit from these two. From the top 2s, now back to a second, so I wonder if Gajan just went for a little bit of a nose that didn't quite work out. Had Wi-Fi issues. Oh, couldn't race tonight. That's a shame. Hopefully we'll see you at the next one. Let's see what happens. Samuel, there is another, where'd the other Brackstad? I swear there was another Brackstad in the list, or did that car drop out because of said issues? Was it you and a relative that were going to be racing together? Because I saw Brackstad as a name, but it wasn't your first name. In a Porsche, so I presume it was, given that you love that thing. Oh, okay. Fair enough. As Mondelezi goes past Ganley, even with that car being chewed up, Magnus, I think it was. So I don't know if it was a relation or not. I didn't see what flag it was. But yes, even with that car being somewhat chewed up on the front end, it's still able to get past and properly crack on Mind you, we did see that car right up at the sharp end of the grid in qualifying, so this is going to be a couple of hours of racing, a couple of hours of recovery. I don't think there is a time on this one. I don't think there is a time multiplier on this one. The race time was correct, but the well, we'll sort that one for the next round. There was a server restart, so it may be something that got a bit confused in all of that. As Mondelez cruises past Olsen there as well now. That Romeo and goes for a move around the outside of the bus stop, gets hung out to dry and keep it out the barrier. That did not go to plan. That's not how you wanted that to end. Well done for managing to avoid everything. For everybody managing to avoid that one in the process. I look across at my timing screen and there's no time between them, so that is second to fourth now. That car looks okay, but I'm guessing took a bit of a conk on the barrier. Might not be the healthiest, but we'll see. Is about a second or so back from this top four now, although Gajan has got past Van Niemann and is half a second back on the Porsche. So obviously with those two fighting and having their issues through the bus stop, that's caused these two to catch right back up, and the Bentley has managed to get past the BMW. Indeed. 5 seconds car 2, lap 6, causing contact with car 65. That was 5 seconds, so yeah, that's fine. We've seen a couple of cars make their mandatory stops. They will have to obviously make another pit stop to get through to the end of the race. It just means they may only be able, they will be able to do it on one stop now without too much trouble. So that is the number 2 Mercedes, and O'Reilly has pitted early. I'm assuming trying to either had some damage. The front doesn't look entirely fresh, but doesn't look too bad. I'm guessing has opted to run a bit of a long one, 2 long stints and 1 short one with 2 stops to try and make up for possibly a very small fuel issue. Has Barbara right on the back of Vanderbroek now, and going for a move around the outside. Vanderbroek got the inside into the bus stop, holds onto that one, but puts that RVR car right under the rear wing, coming down the hill into out the bus stop, down the hill towards the boot there. Gap opens up a little bit through that corner, but nothing major. Mondelez, you are flying. You're now up to 12th place now. Hunting down Fusey. As we see Marsh diving for the pits. Who we've seen with some damage already, so I'm wondering if that is hold out till you know you can make it to the end on 1 more stop, and then run essentially with 2 hours on 1 more stop. So, that is things for now, as they stand. What else is going on? Van Niemann has dived for the pits. I'm wondering if we're seeing people who were... Calculations were going to be that they were a little bit short and going to have to 2-stop, so they are opting to do a super short first stint, and then 2 slightly longer ones to make up for the lack of fuel there. How's my screen done? There we go, let's get rid of it. I've got so many screens running at the moment. So yeah, see what happens there with that one. I think that's what we are seeing. So this will be the highest placed car who has pitted when they roll out. So it will be interesting to see where they come out with regards to the rest of the field. and see what happens there once they come out. Which has released Gajan, who's got past Linz now in the Porsche. So that Bentley is flying with their flying out there. In comparison, has pulled a gap of about half a second on the Porsche. Hello, Amas. I apologies, I can't. Good evening. Yes, nice chilled out one for a couple of hours of racing. Coming into the 2-hour mark on time to go. So yeah, with a few stops that we have. So Van Niemen has pulled out into 17th place. Looks like Hicks has had quite a big issue coming out of the boot there, and is trying to recover their car. That's a horrible place as the leaders are coming through now. Staying off track, waiting for everybody. Very nicely done. Stays well out of the way of everybody trying to get back out on track. Does have a few more cars coming past. Stays well out of the way. Fine, you're doing a wonderful job there. But yeah, Van Niemen has come out in 17th place there with that pit stop. So that early pit stop has meant they've dropped back quite a long way. So do have a lot of work now to do in the next 2 hours of racing. Mondelezi is up into 11th now with that Aston Martin of Fusey in their sights. Romeo is obviously now up into 3rd with that damage. Linz is dropping back like a stone compared to that to that Bentley. So that Bentley is absolutely flying. Wondering if the Porsche is having to do a little bit of fuel save to make it on one stop to the end. Time will tell on that one, and we shall see what happens. What is Patrick? Where are you? 15th at the moment. Car 187. Let's find you on my timing screen. There you are. 187 BR Simsport. With you have, that is a recovering 59. Just dived into the pits. There we go. That answers that one. Dive for the pits. As I say, with around the 2 hour mark to go, that's going to be a pretty clean run to the end now with one stop. But still, Mondelezi cannot get past this Aston. All over that car like a cheap suit, and just cannot quite find a way past. Way past whatsoever. Good on the brakes down into that into the hairpin there at the bottom, at the heel of the boot. Can they manage to do anything? No. Showing the nose, shows the nose up the inside, hugs that Aston tight towards the outside wall. Is on the inside. Who's got the bravery on the outside there? Fusey just lets that car go in the end, rather than trying to run too wide into that penultimate corner. And that is Mondelezi through. That ended up being very simple. I was expecting there to be a lot more than it was. So this is round 2 now for Romeo with the with that Porsche. So as we see Daryl going for a bit of a exploration of the track, I think trying to get out of the way of the faster cars, and ends up visiting a barrier, so I do apologise for vaguely catching that one on camera. But I hope there's still a couple of hours left to run. Plenty of time, and you will be absolutely fine. Keep plugging away with the laps, and you will hopefully make up some places. You're in 17th, as Van Niemen's gained a place, I believe, through Paravich. I apologies, I can't pronounce that surname for love nor money. Is up there as well. From them pitting as Daryl gets out of the way of everybody there. I think kind of, I say that. This is actually a 4-track position as Paravich goes straight through. We'll go with Paul because I can't pronounce that and I'm just going to keep butchering it even worse. Go straight through around the outside of that one. Nicely done. Olsen right on the back of Ganley now. Yeah. Ugh. I'll get there eventually. This is going to be a fun one tonight. Ganley, yeah, about half a second the gap now. Olsen to Ganley. As I say, Olsen in cracking livery on that Ferrari, that chrome gold. Gold? Bronze? Not sure. Answers on a postcard. With the runs very wide. You're not going to be thankful that we saw that live. Taking some NASCAR lines there. Seriously, go NASCAR around this track is insane. Has a good run. Good run up the hill there. Just can't, that Ferrari just can't quite match the McLaren in a straight line through there. Both rattle that first inside curb hard, as that was not where you wanted to put that car rolling over the backside of that curb, and that has given Olsen a whole bunch of work to do to catch up, back up with Ganley, as Fusey is trying to hang on to the back of Mondelezi, but I don't think it's going to happen. That Mondelezi car is VM Tech is going to be it's going to have a bit of a long stop when it does finally stop. I feel like this could be a bit of a race of what could have been at the front, with that car as well up in the mix. But hey ho, it happens. It's racing. Accidents happen. Lap 13, 15 seconds to car 81, causing contact with car 65. 15 seconds. Oh, car 81 is Van Niemen, so you're going to have to file that one under your next pit stop. Anybody that hasn't made a pit stop, or still has a pit stop to make to get to the end of the race, the penalties will be served then, otherwise they will be added on post-race. And all the results will be released. I believe it's a little while. I think they've got 48 hours to protest anything. / submit any new ones. So up into 10th now with that Ferrari. Gajan has absolutely legged it away in that Bentley to the tune of 1.5 seconds now to Linz. Romeo is holding station about 1.5 seconds back from Linz in that Porsche, so top 3 covered by about 3 seconds at the moment, and then it's a further 6 seconds back to the Berlinsk Audi. That's doing very well here. It's fantastic to see one of the older Audis up there in the towards the top of the grid. I'm not really talking much about that car, so that's usually a pretty good sign that you're doing all right. If you can keep out the spotlight of the comms crew, it's usually a pretty good sign. As Van Niemann goes past Paul Nikita, because I really can't pronounce your first name. In that Bentley, and that BMW. Oh dear, it's gonna be one of those nights, isn't it? As Davis now in that Soul GT2, still with damage from the start, is running around with their car in 14th. They do have 10 seconds to serve at the first pit stop. This is going to be an interesting one. I wonder whether that car can make it with one stop. This is actually going to be interesting because we've run the KTM a good chunk. Normally I'd go to GT2 car. We decided to try the Lambo for a bit of a giggle in a race previously. Didn't go all that well. But yeah, that car chews its front tyres if you don't get it set up vaguely sensibly. So that will be an interesting one to see whether its tyres can hold out as much as its fuel can. So yeah, we finished an hour stint with that thing down on under a millimetre of the KTM. We were running down to under a millimetre of tyre left by the end of that thing. By the end of a stint on that thing, it was a bit of a handful. So yeah, that is all good. It's kind of general waffling time. There's not a huge amount going on track at the moment. As I say, unfortunately, it looks like the Aston GT4 has parked it for this race. Basically ran around and opted to stop. Hicks is... It looks like you're the last one. We only have a couple of drivers at the moment off the lead lap. Looks like Morris is going to be the... Morris and Hicks are going to be the two... Hicks is a long way off the lead lap. Morris is looking like they're about to go a lap down, so not too bad considering we've had almost 50 minutes... We've had over 50 minutes of racing already. Wow, that time has flown by. 30? 50 minutes? I didn't see entirely what time was. It was about 2:24. So 30 minutes of racing to go already, and yeah, it's just letting that big Bentley go on the straight there. Nicely done, nice safe place to let that happen. And what have you. So yeah, as Olsen is now back starting to get back on terms with Ganley for 13th place. Yep, we are now on report-based stewarding. Okay, looks like there may be a bug with the server, which is why we're not getting any time progression. I've just had a quick check in the race server on our Discord channel. By all means, if you're liking what you're seeing, it looks like there's a bug. It is actually set in the server to do it, but it hasn't done it quite right for whatever reason. So yeah, if you are liking what you're seeing and it's good fun racing, you enjoy GT3s, you don't have to be this fast. Like I say, we've just had a rookie series, which was good fun. We are planning another one of those, so it doesn't matter what level you're at. generally, it doesn't matter what level you're at. Come and join in if you like racing. That's why we're all here. Come have fun. Join that. Follow, like, share, etc. All the usual YouTube, Twitchy stuff that everybody asks you to do. It makes us feel good. We like it when all that happens. It makes us feel good. It keeps everybody happy. Doing this generally keeps everybody happy. It's a lot of fun. As Larza is on the tail of the Audi for fourth and fifth now. It's just starting to catch up and get onto terms there. So that car coming good towards the second half of its stint. There you go. Yeah, so we shall see how this goes. Why did that one go? There we go. So yeah. Everything just chuntering through now. With what's going on, there's nothing major going on track. It is just enjoy some racing here at Watkins. That's the Ganley gap. Larza, Belinsky, the Mercedes, on the tail of Darrell of Marcus and Darrell now. Marcus looking for a move on that McLaren. And Darrell just giving plenty of space that I'm not entirely sure is completely happy with the way that car's driving. Obviously you did see it go off into the barrier earlier on. So obviously not fighting too hard if they know they're not going to be able to hang on to that one. Just getting the miles under them and keeping going, as Olsen now right on the tail of Ganley. This is when everything's going to start catching back up with each other, aren't they? And start running. As I say, it's nice. Doesn't look like the stewards have had too bad of a time of things with everything that's going on. So yeah, the Ferrari on McLaren, as I'm not entirely sure that Ferrari's happy right under the rear wing. Oh, that was... I've had to run out wide, and that is a bad place to have to get out the throttle. I don't think they were quite expecting as much of a tow through that as they got, as Olsen managed to get on that one. So yeah, we shall. That one's just had to back out of that one a bit more than expected. Rattles that first curb, misses the other two, but hits the last fourth one on the exit there as they run down the hill. Let's see what this battle looks like. It's kind of slightly better, no? As this is a view of the back of Ganley's car from Olsen. I'm just playing around with him. As this is about the closest gap on track at the moment. I am keeping an eye on the timing screens. Van Niemen is still the one with the fastest outright lap record. Last lap were fastest on track, 45.972. Everybody else actually quite a long way off of that. Even down to some 150s out there. Still with that outright lap record of 45.085, as goes past Davis in the Mercedes. That Mercedes has got a very, very vibraty bonnet. That's not good. As Van Niemen there, diving down through there. That's the Garrett car 59. O'Reilly they're just catching up with, as that car's got some damage. You can see the front end vibrating away and bouncing around on that one. As Olsen now right on the tail has a better run, doesn't have to check up this time around, going up the hill into the S's. Can he manage to do anything through here? No, this is going to be potentially a frustrating one for Olsen now, just having to just follow the back of this McLaren for so long. You're going to be able to draw a very, very accurate drawing of the back end of that thing, just from memory. That time you've had to spend behind it. As we see Davis into the pits as well. That Mercedes is currently stopped. That one. Let's jump back to the Olsen battle as that's closed right up. Suddenly see the rear wing very well in detail there of Ganley's car. Dives in under the brakes. Ganley runs a bit wide. Can Olsen capitalise on this? This goes through. Let's have a quick jump from Ganley and go that one. See what this looks like from the back of Ganley's car. That Ferrari looming large in its rear, in its mirrors. This is, I feel like this is going to be a who blinks and makes a mistake first. I feel like the lap times are pretty even. There was about literally a tenth and a half between the two of them on that last lap, going the way of Ganley. So Olsen, you have got to be careful. You keep running out that wide, mate, you're going to end up with a drive-through for track limits. Excuse me. So, yeah, I wouldn't keep running that wide because you're going to be in a lot of trouble otherwise. I wish there was a way of knowing. I do that and go to... it doesn't tell us whether they've got any... I thought I'd be cheeky and see if I can see whether they have any track limit warnings on their car at all. That Ferrari struggles with the bus stop and dropping down the hill, but it's quite basically everywhere else. As we see it cruise right up behind the back of the real old school view, racing game view for this one. Dives down under there as Wilson is on the back of Larza now. I'm going to jump to a more normal camera for this one. Larza is, very much under fire from Wilson in that McLaren. So this is McLaren on Aston Martin now. As they dive down into the boot and down across towards the toe to come back up the hill. So this is for 5th and 6th place. As the McLaren goes deep on the brakes, comes to the Aston, right under the rear wing, very much there on that Aston. Can they manage to do anything? That car was good on the brakes, manages to still reasonably quick on the exit, still keeps most of that gap down to the Aston Martin. 0.2, 0.3 of a second is all it is at the moment. So a decent toe in the right place. Who's going to get the run out of the first corner and get the run up the hill? Who has to check up? Who has to do what? In there goes for a bit of a dive. That Aston is not looking quick through the corners. Both of them all over the curves there. Who's got the drive up the hill now? McLaren right under there, getting a nice big toe coming up the hill through the S's. Everybody keeps it nice and clean through there. Can Wilson do anything on the brakes into the bus stop? Gets Aston, just lets them by, doesn't want to try and chase that one across as Wilson gives plenty of space across the curb, admittedly. But that Aston Martin just doesn't get involved at all and drops right back really quick. That's a nice, easy, done move there. Olsen has dropped back. Didn't see what that was. Just seen your Tiger goes raw. Nice. You just spotted your team name there. You have dropped back there. Can we see any... Have you ended up with damage that we didn't see? Ganley has pitted, so I'm assuming potentially there was maybe some minor contact. Nothing major on that car by the looks of things. So may have just been a minor mistake that's caused them to drop back. But Ganley now in the pits and is probably going to be there for a while with the damage to that rear of that car. As Gajan has pitted out of the lead, so this is going to be an interesting one to see when where they file out in relation to Van Niemann. These two obviously were basically nose to tail on track at the time. So this leaves Lintz and Romeo now back up to first place. We've seen that one before. As Gajan is down into 7th. Obviously Van Niemann still has that has that 15-second penalty to serve. Obviously, Gajan with an hour and 35 to go. Either this is going to be one hell of a fuel save, or they're just going to send it, and they're two-stopping it, but running 3 more even stops. Yes, rookies was good fun. Oh, it's alright, it happens. It's all good. Technology is what it is, it happens. As Gajan... Where did Gajan go? Gajan is there. They are out and rolling. So, Van Niemann had a much, much longer stop than Gajan. Gajan has managed to pull a chunk of time on that car just on track as well. So, very nicely done. There, and I managed to stay ahead on track, so it's going to be interesting now. The race is on to see who hits where. Now, my guess would be that that Bentley is doing 3 reasonably even stints. Looking at they've gone in about 35 minutes to go. With 1 hour 35 to go, they are going to be doing, I think, what's that going to be? About the same, or so to go. We'll see what happens. They could run for an hour and then do a short half fill to the end with 35 minutes to go. We shall see how this goes, as Romeo is now inside of a second on Lintz. So we will see. I'm guessing these two cars... Honestly, I am entirely guessing. This is lick my finger, stick it up in the air and hope for the best level of guessing. I'm going to guess that these two are going to try for a single stop and pit with about an hour and 12, I think it will be. Hour and 4 to go. So yeah, we'll see how this happens, see what how it goes. We shall enjoy. We'll see who does what. It'll be interesting to see where those... Because the other thing is, it's going to be, what have you got left in your tyres from those that have one stopped versus 2 stopped. Because if you 2 stop, you're going to have much, much fresher tyres towards the end of the race than those that have 1 stopped. However, those that have 1 stopped are going to be... are going to be out on, physically just on track more than you are. So we shall see what happens. I mean, if anybody from any team does want to let us know what they're planning, by all means. Similarly, if you jump out the car and you're running multiple drivers, do feel free to jump in the comms waiting room. If you want to come and have a chat mid-race, we've got enough time. It's only myself here, so if you do want to come have a chat, let us know how your stint went and what have you. By all means, as Romeo is going for a move up the inside, doesn't quite make it stick. Both of them end up rattling curves left, right, and centre. Romeo, you tried that previously and it didn't work. Why did you try it again? Very nice bit of defensive driving from the Porsche. Gave space, but not more than was required on that one. As my Discord just done? I don't know. I just right at the corner of my eye doing something. As Hyundai is on the tail of you are the new driver in the Bentley is right on the tail of Hesketh now for on-track position. That is chewing at the bumper of that Porsche. Let's jump onto that Porsche and do that, and that's a very big Bentley on the back of that car. Who's got the drag? Who's got the legs? Who's got the legs? It looks like the Bentley's got the legs into the bus stop, but the Porsche can't quite hang on to that. Space was given, but no more than was required, and that is the Bentley through into 9th now overall. Indeed. How is our Soul GT2 that is still running is down in 17th? Rattles that curb well and truly. I mean, at least you've got the ride height and the suspension to deal with it. Yes, indeed, it was a very lovely move on that one. Fusey is now the next car on the tail of that Porsche. Indeed. So yeah, as I say, if anybody does want to come and join in after you jump out the car, feel free to. I don't know if you are listening in, but if you are, do feel free to. As this battle now with Romeo and I'm gonna stop butchering your name. What's Mantis? Mantis? Wonderful. As they go past Olsen there, who is now going a lap down on these two. As that's a wonderful move. Romeo just gets the nose in up the inside of Mantis there in the Porsche, having been checked up a little bit going past Olsen, up the inside into the toe and gets it cleanly done. Smooth on the exit, manages to take the inside line and get the drive on the exit. Now they're coming up back of Darrell in that McLaren. Doesn't look like either of them got particularly checked up. Porsche just trying to show its nose a little bit, can't quite manage to do anything there. So with an hour and 29 minutes to go, this just got interesting. As Fendi now is, what happened to you? Saw you dropping down, but what happened? Wonderfully comes up and out of there, and you get it wrong in the bus stop. I'm assuming you tagged either the wall, the curb, or something wasn't happy and it went round. On the brakes, chucks it in. Starts to let go before you even hit the, you even got to the curb there. Chucked it in with a bit too much speed, and then trying to get it back going, does a nice little half spin there. Oops! As we see Wilson going for a move on the Audi now. Dives up the inside, all over the back, goes for the inside. And dives down the inside, has the drive to make that one stick. Hangs the Audi out wide on the entrance, chucks up the inside and makes that one stick. Wonderfully done there. Overcorrection on brakes. I think it was more the car, they chucked it in, got on the brakes a bit late, and I think they chucked it in with a bit too much speed. The back end of that Bentley looked like it was starting to over-rotate before they hit the curb, which would say that it was going wrong before they got that and then running it over the curb. Did not make the situation any better. So that does leave 6 and a bit seconds. So 8 seconds back from Hyundai now is Van Niemann. So that mistake has dropped them. They have lost. They came out in 9th place out of the pits, but they have lost all of that now. And then some to Van Niemann. So that run a little bit longer on the pit strategy hasn't quite worked out for them. And we shall see how that plays out now for that car come the rest of the race, as this is Van Niemann now catching up to Davis in the GT2 Mercedes. Just breezes past, breezes past in a straight line. That's not normal. Obviously getting well out of the throttle there just to let the faster car go. Nicely done. As Mondelez is back in. No, you haven't got on it. You're just stubbornly sat in that car now, aren't you? Or did you get out? I can't remember. No, you would be further down if you had made a pit stop. No, you haven't pitted, so you've been in since the start with that damage. Now up into 8th place, and chasing down Vandenbroek in the other Ferrari. So this is going to be who's got what in the tank and what in the setup. Vandenbroek gets a little bit squirrely on the entrance there, managed to hold it together and not lose a place in the process. That corner is so scary fast. Mondelez goes, shows the nose, but can't quite make anything stick on the inside, dropping down into the boot, up around the toe. What can they do now? I'm wondering if he's going a little bit too aggressive on the brakes. Closes up, but can't quite get on the power enough. A little bit too hard on the brakes, but can't get on the power early enough or well enough on the exit because they've gone a bit deep on the brakes. Into the corner there, yeah, they're just running in deep, but can't quite get on the power early. Ooh, that was a bit too deep again. They're just trying everything they can to make that move stick. Make contact there, and that is hopefully no harm done. No lasting advantage for a bump and run there. Gives them space, lets them get back up to speed, and lets that place go. As Berlinski is just rolling out of the pits now, so that puts Mondelez and Vandenbroek in to 6th and 7th as Mondelez goes side by side up through the S's. Who's got what coming out of here? Mondelez on the inside, but they're both in the same car. There is no quarter given there whatsoever. Mondelez just trying to squeeze to the outside. Who's got the brave pills on the inside? And Mondelez makes that one stick as as Vandenbroek gets a bit rattled by the inside curve on the left hand. First the two left-handers on the bus stop there. That leaves Mondelez free to drive away now. Yeah, this feels very much like a race of what could have happened if they hadn't got caught up at the start with whatever damage they ended up with. And yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they can make something happen towards the end of this race. As I say, they're into 6th, but it looks like they might have a bit of a long stop when they do eventually pit. I think with an hour and 23 to go, you are committing to one stopping now. And you are going to have to go through to an hour and 10, hour and 5 to go to make sure you can make it to the end in case you have to do an extra lap in relation to the leaders. Obviously, the race will end when the leader has completed their last lap that goes beyond. So if they cross the line with a second to go, they will go. You'll basically have to go through, and everybody will do an extra lap on top of the time. As Lint's now on the back of the Aston of Romeo. So wonderful racing. Nice evening to be watching all of this. That's about all that's on track as Marsh is in the pits. You look like you've been in the pits possibly for a while. Didn't we see you go in earlier? With an hour and 20 to go, I'm not 100% sure you can go to the end. I guess we'll find out. and see what happens as they are now on their way and rolling out the pits. Yeah, we shall see what happens with that car, whether they manage to do that, as Linz is now starting to loom large on the back of that Aston Martin. So doing a wonderful job of hanging on to that place. Lost it to start with at the start. Got it back eventually after dropping back a little bit. Has now got retaken that lead as Barbara in the other RVR, Roman in the other RVR car is just rolling into the pits now. Out of 5th place, has already dropped to 9th. So it'll be interesting to see where this car files out in relation to the two cars that have been racing for the lead. Hyundai now has got past Hesker again, so that is 5 seconds from under Lazy. Why have you picked up 5 seconds? I have nothing in the race report. That may have been for an earlier one. Oh yeah, that was all an already existing. Oh dear, there we go. As Romeo is now into the pits as well. And rolling to a stop. So this is going to be interesting. Hyundai is coming through the toe of the boot now. Romeo, I don't think had any any penalties to serve. So as long as it doesn't do anything too dumb on the way in, as both of the Larza, sorry, is in the pits as well. I'm getting Linz and my L's confused there. I'm really not good at English. Yeah, so both of those cars in the pits, along with Finley, O'Reilly in there as well, in the pits for that one. As Romeo is clear of the pit stop. Aaron 19, I'm not 100% sure you can make that to the end. Hyundai has not gone through. This is going to be tight. But Romeo manages to get out in front with about half a second. Excuse me, with about half a second of a gap. But is on fresher tyres and fresh tyres but high fuel in that car. So that will be an interesting one to see how the two cars go against each other. Looking nice and smooth as Fusey is in as well. Larza has Larza pitted and come back out? Did you have a drive-through or something that we didn't see? I don't know. You were showing us in the pits just now. But you have come out in front of... Did you come out in front? I am not sure. Sorry, I'm getting very stuck. I swear I saw Larza in the pits. Good evening for the first in. Yeah, you've handed the car over now to Stevens, who is doing a fairly decent job of holding off Hyundai now in the Bentley. Are you... Are you aiming for a one-stop, or are you gonna hope that run for? Ooh, this is a who's the Bentley got the drive on the pits? Who's got the drive? Stevens not giving an inch whatsoever. There may have been contact there. Ooh, that was I'm going to let that go to the stewards if they want to look that one up. If they want to write Stevens up on that one. That was aggressive defending, let's put it that way. Yeah, it looks like you did. And it looks like you did alright in the in that first stint. Are you aiming for a one stop, or with an hour and 20, can you go to the end now without having to stop again? Romeo, or not? Because that looks a little tight for fuel. An hour and 20 may be tricky. Not sure. Fair enough. Well, let's see what happens. And there may be some splashes going on towards the end of the race. I would guess that most people that are going to go for one stops are going to be wanting to try and hold out for at least another 5 minutes. And go 1 hour 10. But we shall see. We shall see. As Stevens there with under fire very much from Hyundai. Now, that Bentley in the same place. That Bentley's got so much power up the straight. It gets a toe and it's just... No, not having any of it. That is... Goes to the outside. Stevens defends the inside. We know that actually holding the inside through this corner can work quite well. Rattles the curves. Actually incredibly smooth through there. Very well done to hang on to that one. So they are into 8th place. These two are fighting over 8th and 9th on the road. However, everybody else in front... No, Wilson has pitted and has stayed out in front of both of these cars. I hadn't spotted that one. Okay. That's a very interesting one. So Wilson has pitted. Or has Wilson already pitted earlier on? How long have you been out? Let's check my stints. No, Wilson has actually pitted and managed to stay out in front of both of these cars. Okay, you are up 9 places currently from where you started. The question is, have you rolled an absolute blinder to get to the end of this race? If you can do that and hold out without needing another stop, with everybody else in front needing to stop, ooh, this just got interesting. This just got really interesting. So that car started 9 places back from where it is, and has just plugged their way up through the grid. And between Hyundai and having issues, and Van Niemen having a bit of a long stop, although Van Niemen was in the pits 45 seconds. Yeah, Hyundai was 32. Stevens was 45 seconds. Wilson was 32 seconds as well. So very short. Belinsky was 19 seconds stopped. I'm assuming you just took a splash of fuel and didn't take tyres. Okay, so you have pitted, but you only took fuel and no tyres. You do have to take fuel and tyres at some point in this race. And 15 seconds for Larza, so I'm again assuming that was a splash of fuel. 6 minutes ago. I wasn't going mad. Fastest lap is... Van Niemen is fastest. 45.085 is the outright fastest lap currently. You end up with 10 seconds worth of damage. Fair enough. So yeah, Wilson has got one there, as Larza and Vandenbroek is just diving into the pits now. I was just saying, why has that suddenly tumbled down the order? But no, that is because they've just dived into the pits. Wilson losing out now to Berlinski's? Or is this a battle for... No, this is a battle on track for position, sorry. These two are absolutely going for it with Larza in front as Lintz now pits. Okay, so if they are... David, yeah, you are... David's out there on flying. Admittedly with a somewhat hindered car from the start. Didn't see what happened to that car at the start. Picked up some damage. But is now up into second and probably will inherit the lead. Maybe not, actually. Does have 5 seconds plus any damage they decide to fix at the next stop. You are not moving yet. Where is Wilson? Wilson is... Okay, you're going to probably drop behind Wilson, although these two are fighting something. I'm wondering if Larza is struggling on their tyres now. They took a splash of fuel, evidently the splash they would have needed at the end they've taken in the middle of the race, and are running super long on their tyres. But that has left them with a bit of a problem to those that are one-stopping. As, yes, that puts... no, Lintz has got out in front. And is going up through the top of the circuit. So, Mondelezi now into the pits as well to serve their 5-second penalty and their stop with a minute and with an hour and 9 to go, hour and 10 or so to go. That should be good to go to the end. So they will hand over to their second driver there. Wilson gets past Larza. How was that one done? Because that involved bus stop. Wilson gets right under the rear wing of that Aston, pulls out of the slipstream, and is able to get the slingshot on the brakes up the inside. Yeah, I think that Aston is struggling on its tyres. Possibly should have gone a little bit longer on the fuel, but I wonder if they weren't going to quite make it and did their splash, like I say, their splash a little earlier on. So, Larza hasn't pitted, Wilson has overtaken. This is now a straight fight on track between Wilson and Lintz now for who can do what. There is about 10 seconds between them, between the two cars. We know that for that Porsche is quick, but Wilson has managed to have an absolute blinder in this second stint to catch up to that one. Van Niemann is still going fastest pretty much every single lap now of everybody. 46.7075 was their last lap, and that was effectively the fastest lap on track that time by. Right, as Bilanski's? Apologies, I'm just going to keep apologising for names because I really am struggling with them. Were you one of the cars that did a splash? Yes, so you were stopped for 19 seconds. Slightly longer than the Aston. Slightly longer than the Aston, as Hesketh is now in the pits as well. We'll see how long they're stopped for. Yeah, so that Audi was stopped for slightly longer than the Aston, but I think is being slightly kinder on its tyres than the Aston is. So that's going to be one to see. Like I say, I think the Aston has just fried its tyres and is struggling now to make it through to a point in which they can go and pit for the end. Yeah, Wilson up 13 places now on where they started. Probably not the worst thing. I wouldn't say no to that. As you can tell, whilst our English isn't amazing, and that's where we spent our entire life living, yeah, some of the names get a little interesting, and I apologise for butchering them so badly. if anybody does want to give us any, like, help with any of that, by all means, we will pass it on to the rest of the comms crew, as Hesketh now is up and rolling. That puts Hesketh a lap down. Ooh, okay. How long were they in the pits for? Where's Hesketh? Hesketh at 14. 47 seconds. So, yeah, Van Niemen does need to get a bit of a wriggle on, because they do have 15 seconds to serve at their next stop, and obviously they know they're not going to get through without one more stop to the end of the race. Stevens has now has not managed to. Yeah, so Hesketh. The reason I query that name, because it used to be Hesketh Formula 1 team. They were. It was Lord Hesketh. Basically, just went, I've got lots of money, and decided to set up a racing team, and it was Hunt who was racing for them, and basically decided to do their own thing with blackjack and hookers. Pretty much, as was based, it's pretty much where that saying goes. We're gonna do our own thing, but with that. So that's basically what it came. It was a couple of playboys with a lot of money went racing, and it just helped that Hunt was unbelievably quick. But unfortunately, the money ran out, so they had to get sponsorship, and the team basically folded. And was it McLaren or did they end up at Ferrari? I can't remember. There's a whole film on it. There's a whole film that's actually pretty decent about it. I would go look it up. It's really good. Recommend a watch. It covers Lauda's recovery as well from their accident, which was just horrific. Yes, there we go. So yeah, that was yeah, yeah. So that's what that is. Stevens now in that 12. Oh, that was unsettled across some curbs. Who else is out there? Van Niemen is now on the back of Hyundai now. So after that initial burst of speed, on the back of Stevens, has dropped back now to the tune of 3.5 seconds almost. And that puts Van Niemen now on their tail. So this just got a bit more interesting as well. As I say, Wilson with that absolutely blinder of a go to start with. The question is, there's a bit of a question mark as to whether Wilson will be able to go to the end, as we're seeing the last couple of pit stops. Like I said, I think those two cars that splashed earlier on will run, I'm guessing, to inside of the hour mark now on fuel. Excuse me. Inside the hour mark. So probably now see them pit in the next 5 to 10 minutes to then run a full service and then run to the end. So it'll be interesting to see where they file out. Stop go 30. You were just in the pits, so that is a speeding violation. Well done. Yeah, there was a GT4 that turned up. What was there? There was 4 GT2s, and I think, hang on, where did it go? I had there was 5 GT4s signed up and 4 GT2s signed up to this one. So only a couple of each of them, one of each of those two categories turning up for tonight's race. Hopefully we shall see more of them next time round. Ooh, as Van Niemen goes for a bit of a dive on the inside of Hyundai there, on that Bentley going down into the running down into the boot there, up through the toe. Couldn't make it stick, but very nicely done. Very well done to both drivers for not making contact with each other. So, yeah, that is... GT4s are quite fun. GT4s aren't that bad. Haven't spent a huge amount of time in them, but they are... Ooh, that was a big slide. That was a really big slide. As Belinsky now on the back of Laza again. So this, as I say, I think these are the two cars that have... They've played an interesting strategy. They're running on old tyres, but they took a splash of fuel earlier on to do that one. As we see Van Niemen now, possibly slightly earlier than expected. Diving. Was this an intentional dive for the pits? I don't know. They were wiggling around just now. I'm hoping this was intentional and not just a dive down the pits. Are they going to stop? Yes, that looks like they are going to stop. So that's fine. So Van Niemen now is going to be the first of the two stoppers to have two full service cars to have pitted. Excuse me. I think this may have been possibly a slightly a strategy call that hasn't quite worked for them, unfortunately, because that's going to drop them back. As we see, yeah, you sit in that car, but that's going to drop them back. As Stevens, was that a return to garage? You suddenly jumped into the pits. Were you there earlier? No, you've only been there 20 seconds. Feel free to shed some light on what happened there. If anybody knows. As Laza is now diving for the pits for what I assume is their full service. Yeah, I didn't see entirely what happened there. Like I say, feel free to shed any light that you have on what that was all about. Regards to that one. What's the outright gap? What's the gap? I've lost my... There we go, race. There we are. So Stevens now tumbling down the order on that one as Laza drops down again. So this will be... I would expect with only a couple of seconds difference stopped for that Audi to be in, I would guess, this lap. Stopping one lap between the two of them. As that is moving, so it'll be interesting to keep an eye on where. So they file out in 8th, behind, in front of Van Niemen and Fusey there. So that Aston Martin is there. Like I say, the Audi I would guess is going to bail for the pits this lap because there's literally only a couple of seconds in it in terms of time spent stopped. And sure enough, they do. That's a cool name. I'm going to go with your surname because I can pronounce that. De Groot is now in that Project 91 car. Is that position? That is position on Ganley. 91 for on car 190. Cool. This is a position. We shall follow this one then. So yeah. Anybody from that token car, feel free to let us know what happened as to what led to you being RTGing to the pits. I'm assuming whatever it was a big off that we didn't see. As yep, Belinsky is through. Yeah, we saw Belinsky go into the pits, didn't we? Dropping down. So 8 is where. Where did that car come out? Is that White Aston? Yes, there it is. Where are you? You're. Belinsky's moving. Vandenbreck gets out in front. So, nicely done. They are now out fighting with Vandenbreck. So, Audi on fresh tyres. Full fuel load. Who's got the grip? Who hasn't? Obviously, a little bit cold, a little bit low on... Not necessarily cold, but a little bit low on temperature and certainly pressure for these... for that Audi. So we'll be juggling that, and probably why that car couldn't quite hang on to Vandenbreck there to start with. That is now Limpar in that car. For HVML eSport team. Fair enough. De Groot is now right on the tail of Ganley, and they have... so that is... Hyundai in the Bentley is there now, trying to find a way past, has to get on the brakes and dive out of the way, choosing the wrong car to follow there, up the hill, through the S's. Can't quite... Ooh! Ganley clatters the curbs, runs into the side of the Porsche, doesn't manage to collect the Bentley on the way through, but that is definitely going to be a look at for the stewards. I think it was an own goal on Ganley. I think they tried to give a bit more, tried to give space, rattle the curbs. So either way, I'm sure that we'll leave that one to the team if they want to look that one up. The next round is... Oh, awesome. Next race is next week, and it's at Hungaro, at Hungaroring. I just need to send Hayden a quick message about something I've just spotted. Right, so yes, sorry, I just needed to message Hayden. I didn't know if he had said anything out on social media or anything. Just in the processes of having flicked through that, we are now gold member partners on SimGrid. For the... Yes, we're now gold partners on SimGrid. So, I believe we're the biggest for ACC on PC. That's a lot of acronyms. And I think the second biggest community on SimGrid. So plenty. That's also why there is often so much racing going on, and why we've had to recruit a couple of new commentators who joined us today. Unfortunately, neither of them could make it for tonight. It was a little bit short notice, but hopefully you'll be hearing from both of them in the near future. So yeah, things are growing, things are moving. That I don't 100% know what that does in terms of what we get to do with SimGrid, but there is lots of stuff to, lots of bonuses, benefits in terms of giveaways, freebies, etc. that we can do during the race, during races, and prizes and things that we can give for races. So that's a good one. I've literally just spotted that now. So that will hopefully be some things to look out for in the future in terms of what we can and can't, what we get to do with them, and also what we get in the way of sponsorships and that kind of thing for events.
Good evening. I'm here, by the way.
Oh, hello.
I didn't want to jump over you after that amazing monologue, so...
That is fine. There wasn't a huge amount going on track, so I just was chatting with chat. So,
I see that unfortunately Mr. Stevens had a humongous off.
I was trying to. I didn't see what it was. I was following somebody else through the pits at the time, and suddenly the car was in front of them.
Yeah. So basically, what had happened was, I think a Mercedes was on the racing line, but letting faster cars past or lap traffic past.
Oh.
George has absolutely gone on his own and hit the grass, hit the wall, and obviously you know what the grass is like. It's just like an ice rink, and he just absolutely collected the rear end of the Mercedes. And so I bet there was a few choice words being said in the cockpit.
Yeah, I don't think the outside of the car may be green, but I think the inside of the car may be blue after that one.
100%, yeah, 1,000,000%. So yeah, unfortunately, that was quite bad for George, because I know those two were running.
They were absolutely
really well,
flying out there.
Yeah, they were really flying. Yeah, I'm here, guys. Yeah, welcome in, Davide. Hi, Davide. Amirius, welcome in, mate, as well. Yeah, I thought I'd pop in, and I didn't want to leave Zeta on her own for the whole of the race. It was very unfair. Apologies for the time issue. I don't know what's happened. I sent a screenshot in the chat saying it's set, but for some reason the server's not picked it up. For some reason, don't know whether it's restart, like happened after the restart. But yeah, for some reason the time just didn't work. So hopefully for next week, we'll put the practice server back up once this race is finished and make sure it's working as expected.
Yeah, we shall see what happens. I mean, it's technology at the end of the day. It happens. It does what it does. Yeah, no, generally the racing's been pretty good. One to keep an eye out for is Mr. Luke Wilson in the car number 69 JP Motorsport. Has, by the looks of things, potentially played an absolute blinder with strategy.
Oh, really?
Up 13 places from where they started.
Oh, wow. I know Luke's a fast driver. I've driven against Luke a few times, most recently in the sprint series, and I know he's a fast kart driver. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see that little battle.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I think they can go to the end. They pitted with about an hour and 20 to go.
Right. Okay.
So they may be pushing it to not have to splash at the end, but. If anybody around them has made any mistakes on fuel, then
they could pounce.
Yeah, they're able to do it. Stopped was basically perfect on their last stop as well. It was 32 seconds.
Wow. Okay, that's a good stop.
Yeah.
I saw in the chat earlier today, I think there's a few people that want to join this championship. What we've done, guys, what we've committed to for the next round is that anybody... So we're quite disappointed with the turnout this evening. Bearing in mind this was a completely full championship. And obviously we know that things happen and people have lives. But obviously we ask for people to check into the races. Alternatively, to sign out of the race just to stop penalty points, stuff like that. What we're going to be doing from once the race is finished... Anyone that didn't check out the race, that's going to get a -5 or 10 points, I think it is, on their profile. He's going to be instantly disqualified from the championship, which means that we're going to open up the championship to more people, because I just think it's not fair that we have a full championship at the start of the race, but only have 23 people actually bother to turn up. So I know it's a bit harsh, and we apologise for that, but I think it's only fair that we do that. We have one GT2 and one GT4. The GT4 is plus 51 laps, so not even gone out, and the GT2 currently sitting in P16. So those guys need to have a battle with other GT2s or GT4s. So yeah, we will sort that out hopefully for next week if we can.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's 20 odd people.
It's quite a lot, but when it was a full 50 car entrant, that's
exactly.
less than half.
Yeah. And like I say, some people might not like Watkins. That's fair enough. But obviously, I know for a fact that obviously myself and Dexter are racing in this championship. Barry's in the chat. He's racing in this championship. So there's two people that'll be around next week at least anyway. So, that number should hopefully go up.
Yeah. So as we see Van Niemann on Fusey battle going on, and that is wow. Just to put into context what's happened to Van Niemann, they have the 92 Linz Porsche for company to go a lap down. That car started up on the front couple of rows of the grid. Unfortunately, strategy-wise, has not played out well for them, and yeah, it looks like they're gonna be blue flagged very shortly for that one as they go for a dive on the inside of Fusey, and all nicely clean on the way through. As that 92 now gets the run on the on Fusey in the Aston Martin, and Van Niemann will be going a lap down very shortly. Also, to put it in context, that is Van Niemann is in 9th position.
That's insane. P1 is lapping P9 right now, and there's only 45 minutes to go. That's P1 is absolutely flying.
As we see Hyundai as, to some degree, expected for their second stop. Reasonably even gaps of about 45 minutes to go.
Peter, how's the inside of that Aston Martin? Is George turned it blue? I can imagine he has. I imagine he has. You guys are still running, right? You are down in P18. Ah, man, you're running first.
First, what with an absolutely blinding lap. It was fantastic.
So fortunate, George. I bet I know George, and I know George very well. I can imagine there were some very choice words used inside that cockpit of that car. I know George is also streaming, so I might go watch his stream back at that current moment in time. Quite funny. But he's under pressure now, George, from Dobson, if I'm not mistaken.
Dobson.
No, it's not. That's lap traffic. Sorry, my apologies.
Dobson is a lap down. I think we had Daryl in the chat briefly after that one. Sorry I missed that one. I thought I saw your name flash up, but there was a lot going on at once. Not bad with zero practice. Fair enough. You're probably not going to like the fact that we saw you get, with lap traffic, end up going through where the car is going through now and end up in the outside barrier. So, Van Niemann is desperately trying not to go a lap down, and is now taking the fight to Vandenbreck well and truly into the bus stop, but I think what you might have to do is let the Porsche past and use that as a wedge to get past the Ferrari would be my suggestion there, but I mean, at the end of the day, the more you get held up, the more that's going to close the gap to Wilson, who is about 9 and a bit seconds back.
Yeah, very interesting this, because obviously P8 and P9 are battling, but P1 is sitting there lurking behind, so I guess P1's just got to sit there. Or is it, 226 and 91 are not 81, sorry, are battling out, and then, the leader is just sitting there going,
I can't get past. As Van Niemann goes for a run around the outside through the heel, as there's another lap. Bit of traffic just going, are you going to get well out of the way there?
Yeah, good driving that. Nice observation there by that BMW to move out the way.
Indeed, as the Ferrari bails out the way of that Porsche as it comes through. Maybe we'll try to get fastest lap at the end. Fair enough.
Yeah, hopefully. That must be so frustrating for Van der Broek, though, because obviously he's just lost a place on track, and now he's had to back right out of it to let the leader past. That's the most infuriating thing ever.
Oh, it happens. But then what you've got to hope is that Van Niemann can loses an equal amount of time and puts you back on the tail of them when they have to let the faster car through. Although, as has been the case all the way through, Van Niemen is still setting fastest laps. Pretty much every time by, they are the fastest car on track.
Just had a horrible strategy then, have they?
Yeah, they pitted. They're pretty much on the same strategy as Hyundai in the Bentley, which is now has been taken over by Gajan in the Yellow Submarine Bentley. It genuinely, they are running on the Yellow Submarine squad. It's amazing. So yeah, they're running, I think, a two-stop strategy, but haven't quite had. I think they've not been entirely lucky with traffic, and ended up with a slightly longer stop than everybody else. I think they ended up with about 40-odd second stop at their first one. So ended up dropping well back at their first stop, and it was kind of game over from there.
Oh, interesting. But yeah, a very separated out grid.
It has.
We've got right now, right?
It has properly opened up. Like I say, it'll be interesting as we get down into kind of the last 10 minutes or so, as we discover who has and who hasn't got fuel.
Mm-hmm.
That gap now, with that Porsche being stuck in traffic, the gap now 2 seconds dropped to 8.5 seconds. So a couple of seconds lost there in traffic to Wilson in the Porsche. And the Porsche and the McLaren. That's still seriously quick. I mean, the outright lap, race lap record is 45.085. So, and the last lap by for Van Niemen's 6.52, and the Porsche's last lap by was 46.050.
Amazing. Oh. Yeah, so Reese is saying, I believe there was a penalty for 81 at the first stop. Oh, okay, so that's why they lost a bucket load of time.
Yeah, they had, was it first stop or second stop? No, I think it was the second stop. Either way, there was a stop, they ended up with 15 seconds. So they ended up with a really, really long stop. And I think they had a little bit of damage they fixed at the same time, so...
Just now trying to get themselves back through the grid then before the end of this race.
Yeah, as we see the other RVR racing car along with the VM Tech car, you see now up under the rear wing of that one there. So this is 2 Ferraris. That RVR, that VM car still looks a little second hand on the front end, but we shall see what happens with these two. There's about under half a second now between the two of them. So we're starting to pick up a little bit of a toe, but not a huge amount.
It's Davide and his teammate, isn't it, Alberto?
Yes.
In that car. Yeah, it's
a
VM Tech, yeah.
That's another one that feels like it would be what could have happened. That car's been flying, but ended up with damage early on. And way down the grid. They fought back from... I think they were down in sort of back end of the teens, possibly into 20th.
Oh, okay. They also had a 5-second time penalty earlier on as well that they served.
Yes, so
a while ago as well.
That's another one of what could have been if things had gone a bit better.
Yeah, totally.
But, we had a couple of cars. It was the Audi and 818 Audi and 891 Aston Martin. Have played an interesting one as well. They took a splash about halfway, around the halfway mark.
Oh, interesting.
They stopped for about, I think it was 15 and 19 seconds, respectively.
He's thinking about it, isn't he? Sorry, I know just the two Ferraris are thinking about it. Around the outside, he's going to try the outside into T1.
I think he's got the drive on the exit.
Yeah, he has got the drive on the exit. That's not the T1, that's the last corner. I apologise. But he has now got the outside line into T1. There we go.
Outbreak.
Oh, he's through, though.
No, not quite.
Oh, I tell you what, if he got the throttle down earlier, he might have got that move done. But this is going to be tricky now. Very much high speeds. Oh, was that a little touch there?
I'm not sure. I think that was things got very close.
Extremely close indeed. But touching the curb, that's not gonna help his top speed.
That's not gonna help. I think that VM car struggled a little bit to get the throttle down, being up 100%. On the curb.
Yeah.
Possibly other track control just light up on them. Bit of a slide there.
That lost a few temps. That'll have to be a let's try again. Let's line him up and try again on the next lap.
As Vandenbreck and Van Niemen Vandenbreck and Fusey are battling away. It looks like Vandenbreck has got the run back. Vandenbreck got past Fusey earlier, but Fusey is refusing to let this go. And across the grass on the inside. That's gonna be. I didn't see whether there was. Oh no! Oh, gets collected by the car. 59 McLaren there. 59 trying to, I think, unlap themselves. Where is that 59 car? Right, Finley in the car 59 got collected in amongst that lot as lapsed traffic. I think trying to gain some of that lap time back, unfortunately.
I'm just back on board, sorry, with Alberto. And who is it? Sorry, is it Rubor? Sorry.
Roman.
Roman,
I can't pronounce the surname, I apologise.
Bubor, I think that's how you pronounce it. Bubor. Maybe they. He's thought about the lunge. But I think what's happening is that Ferrari of Alberto is actually much faster in Sector 3.
Yeah.
Compared to the Roman's car. So he's gaining all that time back up in Sector 3. But when it comes back to this sort of first sector, or sector and a half, just got no. You can't get past.
I think the RBR car is trimmed out a little bit more.
100%.
So struggles through, is fine through this fast section, but struggles through to sectors 2 and 3.
100%. Yeah.
And then and that's where User is picking up the time and making up the time. Although he is significantly closer this time around than was last lap by. So we'll keep an eye on this one.
Right, it's going to be an interesting one because this is where Alberto's car is much better through this sort of latter part of the lap, and you can see instantly that under braking as well, he has got way more confidence than Roman. But this is just straight. It's just not long enough to
get a kind of overlap. But then who can get on the brakes?
Oh, he's got it, done it. Oh,
he's got it on the inside. Who's got the drive? Who's got the drive?
He's got it done. Wow,
well
great
done.
move there by Alberto. Be careful of the switchback. He's going to hinder himself into he's going into the corner now, but done really well. Wow, what a great overtake. Clean from Alberto, and that's them up into P4 now.
Yeah, up into P4. I think they should be pretty good to the end on fuel. On that one, I think that's one of the cars.
Or Roman's battling back. Sorry, Rosita, the gap's now back down to 0.1. Like you say, you're right. It's more trimmed out into these faster areas. Are you going to think about the Sen? No, not into T1. No. But who's got the better exit? I think actually.
They pinched themselves too tight on the entrance.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. But the closing speed, can the gap come down with the toe? It's looking like it can. It's down to 0.3. Although there is a Mercedes behind them. That's a Mercedes of
2. That is Glen.
But yeah, that's it. Yeah, but they're lapped.
They're lap traffic, but trying to unlap themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
very interesting indeed. We'll see if the Mercedes goes for the overtake because, I mean, as much as it's not really, the right thing to do, he is in his right to
if you're quick enough to get past and then pull a gap. If you can pull a gap fairly quickly beyond that 0.4 and get past safely, it's fair game.
Exactly.
I mean, neither of these Ferraris look factory fresh, that's for sure.
100%. But you can see now Alberto has stretched his legs. It's now the gap's what now 0.8 now nearly a second now in sector 3.
The gap's just pulled out well and truly.
Yeah. 100%. That Mercedes is really trying to get past, though, isn't he?
It is. It's normally it's those the Mercedes you see that are the ones that are trimmed out for straight line.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But yeah, it's half an hour to go. Have you found the 2 and a bit hours so far? Then has it been a drag, or has the racing been kind of fun?
There's been enough going on. Like I say, it's struck. Some of the gaps are strung out as Gajan now is on the
On the charge.
On the charge, well and truly goes up the inside of De Hoy's there.
Easy for you to say, but yeah, I think that's about right.
And is now chasing down Limpar in the Audi. These two were the two that took the really short splash early on in the middle of the race. But we saw the Aston really struggling on its tyres towards the end of the stint. Both of them pitted with a little under...
Sorry, that Bentley almost took out the rear of that Audi there.
Yeah, got completely checked up, ran over the inside of... That is the Sky car of...
Daryl, I think.
Daryl and whoever he's racing with.
Dobson.
Yeah, that was... I'm assuming that was lost on your own.
Looked like it, yeah.
Up, gets a big wobble going up over the curbs, tries to catch it, ends up on the grass, and is a complete passenger. Well done for not ending up back on the racing surface at that point. I
need to love you and leave you, I'm afraid. I've got to get some stewarding done. I'm on stewarding duty this evening, so
not a problem. It's been lovely to hear from you.
Yeah, no worries. I'll be back very soon.
Not a problem. Have fun.
See you in a bit.
We now hold tight. Yeah. The question is, can you... hang on, is that... third? Okay, where are you? You are... Okay, the pace of this race has been insanely fast. They are 1 minute and 20 back on Wilson, which puts you almost a lap down on the leaders. That's insanely fast. Yeah, no, racing's been good fun. We've got half an hour to go. As Gajan now on the RVR car, running around the outside. Can they hang on to this one? Yes, you can. Well done indeed. As yeah, that battle with the Aston and the Audi, that's been a little bit semi-race long there. With those two is back on well and truly. I think the Aston is good in the early part of its stint and the middle, but struggles with its tyres towards the end. But the Audi is a little bit better towards the end of the stint. I think has a little bit more in the way of tyres left. As the Audi runs deep into the toe there and lets the Aston straight past. Nice and cleanly done. And that is away and gone now for that Aston. That RVR car kicking up some dust on the way through. Gajan has run away to the tune of a second, but is 4 seconds back from Usa. David, you might want to keep an eye on your rearview mirror. That Bentley's on a charge. That Bentley is on a charge, so third is still up for grabs, well and truly, with half an hour to go. Limpar is trying to stay on terms. I think just made a bit of a mistake, ran a bit deep on the brakes and ran wide, got onto the marbles, and was kind of it really. They couldn't pull it away out of there. As De Hoy's now is catching on that RVR car as well. I'm wondering if they've fried their tyres a little bit as well. Early in their stint, they've burnt them out a bit, going a bit too hard, a bit too early, because because that was that VM car has run away very much to the tune of what's that, 5 seconds now? So it was clearly a faster car outright there. As we see Olsen in the pits with half an hour to go. I think somebody wasn't going to quite make that, as O'Reilly has... Has O'Reilly parked it? How long have you been in the pits for? Time stopped. 2.5 minutes. I think you may have parked it. That's a shame. On that one. As yeah, De Hoy's now is on the back of that has caught up with that RVR car and is going for it. The question is, can Limpar make any inroads on this gap and make anything stick? As the Aston gets a bit of a wiggle on, and that puts them into firing range of the Audi now coming onto the pit straight. Woo! Just when you think it's all going to be a nice cruise to the end, as the Audi goes deep on its brakes, the Aston just covers the racing line, doesn't give the Audi anywhere to go, and clears that one out of the way. So this is a bit of a three-way fight now for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Yeah, we're starting to. It's going to be, like I say, we're now getting into the point where people start to get a bit hot under the collar, whether they've got enough fuel to get to the end. And we'll start to see who's got what left in the tanks. Whether anybody who pitted slightly earlier has got the fuel to make it to the end. Barring a major mistake, I don't think second is going to be under a huge amount of fire. That gap to Gajan and Yusa is falling fast. It's halved now. It's 2.4 seconds, 2.2 seconds. So it's pretty much halved now back to that Bentley. So that's going to be one to keep an eye on, especially with 25 minutes to go. That Bentley's going to be on better condition tyres. It's going to have... this is going to be who's got tyre advantage now. Who's saved early in their stint, who's running long, and who's just gone, let's go for it and do a 2-stop and run harder and try and make up the lost time. So we shall see how this goes. This is very much not ended, as we see Fusey coming back, starting to come back against Vandenbroek now as well. As De Hoy's now is right under the back of Bobra in that RVR car. Has the Aston got the drive? The Ferrari's covering the inside, and squeezing out towards the outside of the track, goes deep across the curbs, can't hang on to it, gives space on the second, the first of the left-handers, and is now has very much got the Audi for company, nearly loses another place through the exit of the bus stop as they run down into the boot now. Nearly loses that place to the Audi. And yeah, that's put them very much in the firing line of Limpar. I think that Ferrari, compared to the other VM racing car, is struggling with its tyres in comparison. I think they pushed their car a little bit too hard, a little bit too early, and has burnt their tyres up and is struggling. It's looking a lot like the Aston was in the early, towards the end of its essentially second stint. As Vandenbroek now has a 5-second penalty. What car number are you? 226, what was that for? 226, lap 60, pushed a pass on 991, 5 seconds. Warning car 991, lap 60, unsafe rejoin. Okay. You got punted out there and then you were a little bit dodgy getting back on track. Fair enough. But yeah, this fight now for 5th, 6th and 7th is very much not over. Gajan now has destroyed that gap to Yusa and is right on the tail now. 0.3 seconds as they come through the bus stop, that Bentley is able to carry so much speed into the across the curbs there. What has Yusa got to hold this back? 22 minutes. That is going to have to be a very, very wide Ferrari now for the towards the end of this race. I said that gap was going to come down, and sure enough, it has. As I say, it's always one thing to catch; it's another thing to pass. Whilst there are good passing opportunities, they're not easy ones. As Limpar now goes for a dive up the inside of the Ferrari, but doesn't quite make that one stick. The Ferrari just squeezes up to the inside. Didn't see all of that, but yeah, I'm not going to call that one. That was that's one if anybody in either of those cars wants to write one or the other up for it, then by all means feel free. This battle with Gajan now has very much hotted up. The question is, how much is Gajan now going to burn their tyres out, trying to keep up with, trying to get past and getting stuck under the rear wing of this VM Tech car. With 20 minutes to go, I don't think they will catch second, even if they get past third. On that one. So even if they do manage to get past, the Bentley is so fast in a straight line. It's got fantastic acceleration, a fantastic punch up to speed. Coming down the straight now, I don't think they've got much of an answer to this, but who's taken the brave pills this morning? They are side by side. As it turns out, both of them. Yusa just has to back out of that one in the end, as that Mercedes that's trying to unlap itself is very much down towards the back, almost runs into the back of the Yusa in that VM car. Has to slam on the anchors very, very hard as they clatter the curb. They've come back on track, having clattered the curbs. The question is, can the Ferrari fight back? What has this Ferrari got now to fight back against the Bentley? Has the Bentley burnt itself out, or is the Ferrari just having to fuel save now to get to the end of the race? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. It probably doesn't entirely help that the alphabet in ACC doesn't have all the dots and bits on top of letters and stuff, which I do know that those languages have quite a lot of. Ooh! That's a spin! That's such a shame! What happened there? That was... I briefly looked across it, chat and the timing screens. Gets up, bounced across the curb and just loses the back end, tries to collect it, loses the back end. Oh, such a shame. That car's been doing so well. They are now down into 8th place after that. Behind Van Niemen in the other RVR car. So having been battling with everybody, you did absolutely amazingly. And that is such a shame. Oh, dang it, that was going to be such a good one. Hopefully you can make it through and the car's not too trashed after that. As we see Limpard starting to get back on terms now with the RVR Ferrari. I know. You've both been doing seriously well. Oh, I'm sending you all the hugs. Davide, I'm sending you all the hugs, well and truly. Yeah, David, I'm sending you all the hugs, well and truly, on that one. So sorry for that mistake. Hey ho, you're still doing extremely well. And you've put up a hell of a fight to fight back to where you have. So, I'd still call this a success. Aww. We've been there. We've done dumb stuff. We've made silly little errors when we're tired in a car at weird times of day when you're racing, and it's easy done, especially when you're running at 110%. As Limpar now has got had a bit of a run, is stuck on the outside through the S's, got the inside coming out. Who's got the grunt in the straight line? This is going to be a late braking contest so often that we've seen into the bus stop. No, the Audi backs out of that one to fight another day and lets the Ferrari run past. As that Audi now is in an RVR sandwich. Oh no, you're not going to make it. Fuel related? I can't remember which car you're in. Possum. Honestly, I do it, it's fun. That's what makes it fun. This is just good fun. 69, car number 69, car number 69. 69, where are you? 69. Oh, I mean, you've got a minute and a bit for 16. Like, if you have to, you might be able to get away with, like, your like, safety car fuel map. Just all the fuel save you can. Having said that, you have got a minute in hand. It'll put you tight on Gadgen. Oh no, you haven't. It's 8. Yeah, no, you've got about a minute in hand. So, chuck. If you can, chuck, like, either chuck a really, really lean fuel map in. You might have enough time to splash for, like, 2 or 3 seconds. In fact, a minute is long enough to do a full service if you had to. So you probably have enough. If you did a splash and go, stop for like 10 seconds at most, you should come out with about 30-second lead on Gadgen. Oh, I don't have it bound. Yeah, like I say, you've got our timing screens say you've got about a minute and 12. If you pit in the next lap or two, you could get away with stopping, like I say, for about 10 seconds worth of fuel, and that should get you to the end. But you'll need you will be shredding your tyres by the end of it. So hopefully you can hold off that 30-second gap to them. So I don't know if you have the ability to do whether you've got it bound for pit strategies. But yeah, I would look at that one and see if you can do anything there. It's in your HUD, whichever button you've got that to cycle through. There should be a pit stop strategy one there for it. Genuinely, you have pulled an amazing race. If you can hang on to it, more power to you. You're up. What are you up? 13 places, I think? Yeah, 13 places on where you started. Oh, no, that sucks. We'll see. I don't know what Mac is doing for... I think Mac's had a whole bunch of stuff going on, so... Yeah, Finley, it's a shame. I take it you... Where are you? I take it you had a long stop and just had to stop. 2 hours is tough. Yeah, I splashed at the end. I'll splash at the end. Yeah, no, that's fine. I would say... Keep going, run to any point. Like I say, you've got... Possum, you've got about a minute in hand. You are losing time at the moment. You've lost a few seconds on the car behind. You're about a minute and 10 back. It's about a minute and 10 back to Gadgen. So, Gadgen had lost Romeo, woohoo! Is that fastest lap? Oh, right, 44.350. Yes, it is. You've just taken fastest lap of the race away from that one. 44.350. Well done indeed. I'll tell you this. This next round is our best track. We'll fight with all we've got. Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome to hear. Honestly, I think you fought incredibly well already. That card was looking somewhat mangled already. I mean, you're still running in 8th, and I think you're catching the car in front anyway. So you're about a second and a bit back from the car in front. So keep pushing. It's not over. It's not over till that checkered flag flies and you cross the line. Keep out on track, and you'll pull something. As we have Van Niemann, and we have the 2 RVR cars. Oh, that would be great. That would be awesome to see you out on track, MRIs. I mean, you're already lapping quicker than we are, so yeah. Come join in with something. It'll be good fun. Honestly, in terms of gaining confidence, the best thing you can do is just race. Race against people, and you'll suddenly learn that it's not like racing against the AI. You do get to... yeah, it's really good fun. As I say, it's an amazing confidence boost, so just come join in. You don't have to jump into one of these ultra long races or anything. Just jump in and have fun in any of the series, anywhere, and just go for it. As we see Van Niemann on Bobra there, or the 2 RVR cars. They do also have Linz in tow on the back of these 2. They are being blue flagged, but they will be... Yeah, come join Season 9 Rookies. I'm not sure when it's starting. I genuinely don't know when that is. I know there's been a lot of talk about how that's going to be organised. But yeah, come join in. It's there for new people. So yeah, these 2 teammates. This is one of those situations that when you start battling, it's don't hit your teammate. Don't hit your teammate. It will be fun. No, the AI are not quite as confident in the corner. Always as confident. Sometimes a little overconfident. It feels, but also a bit punty. In this game. So yeah, Van Niemann is right on the tail of Bobra now. And yeah, they've got the leading 92 Porsche that's been out there. That's been the same driver all the way through, so the top 2 are solo drivers for this one. So very, very well done. And honestly, I think we'll see what happens post-race. I think there may be a number of penalties that come out just with the number of solo drivers. No, honestly, if you're running around at the same pace that you have been showing, that was a bit of a half move on from Van Niemann there through the bus stop. Had a good drive, but couldn't quite get the nose up alongside there. Yeah, come join in. dives around the outside on the boot. There's no quarter being given by either of these drivers. It's very, very fair. Like I say, this is the same team. This is the same team racing for each other. Two very different cars. And I think that BMW is just in slightly better shape now coming to the end of this race than the Ferrari is in. Like I say, they've got the Porsche sat there, and that gap has it's gone out, but it's coming back down because this Ferrari, the Porsche is stuck. Stuck behind them, so is to get on the brakes possibly a little bit earlier than they wanted to. For Porsche kind of checks up. Porsche just sat there. I mean, to some degree, we'll be able to save some fuel bit running in the tow of these two cars, but yeah, the two of them racing very, very hard there together. Van Niemann going quite aggressive across the curbs and actually loses a bit of time on the Ferrari, but has a heck of a drive on the exit, straight down the inside, going down into the angle of the boot there. Really well done. Well done indeed. Nicely done. Both drivers keep well out of the way of each other. And hopefully, I'm guessing that Porsche is now going, hopefully, one of them will let me past. But that Ferrari, I think that Ferrari's going to try maybe coming back. All three of these cars running very, very similar speeds. No, that Ferrari just gets on the brakes, just lets the Porsche go through there. Who's that in behind? I didn't quite see. There was a flash of something, but I didn't quite see what it was. Is that the Audi? No, it can't be. Oh, it might be, actually. Ooh, this could get spicy for 5th, 6th and 7th. That Audi's in the hunt a little bit as well. Who it was? Yeah, everybody doing well. No, this looks fairly well clear. That Ferrari is looking less happy than I think it would want to be. I think that is a driver that is getting quite tired. There's a few mistakes coming in. They're a little bit off apex. They're running curves a little bit harder in places they haven't done previously. So I think that Ferrari is the driver's starting to, show some fatigue as we see one of the back markers very much getting out of the way there. Wilson, you're holding about a minute and 10-second gap still to Gadgen. So if you're needing fuel, then you're probably going to be good to take that as long as you don't beans anything up. You should be all good there. You've got 3.5 minutes to go. Where is the leader on track? Minute and 33, so just coming to the end of their lap. So a minute and a half, just over a minute and a half a lap, isn't it? Minute and 3/4 a lap, so that is 2 to go for those that need to know. I think you should be... no, it'll be about 3 to go, sorry. Yeah, 3 to go for those that need to know regarding fuel, I think. 3 minutes left on the... There is yellow flags on track, and I have no idea why. Those that maybe... Yeah. About 3 minutes to go when they cross the line. Just over. And it's a minute and 3/4 a lap, so... I think you should all be good for... I think it should be about 3 laps. As we see Wilson stopped How long are you going to be stopped? 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Down and gone. That was 10 seconds. Nicely done. 10 seconds splash of fuel. And you are... Gadgen is... still only just starting to come out of the boot, so you should be well clear on this one. You should have about 30 seconds or so once you get out of the pits. On that one. Oh no, you are going to have... Awesome, you've only lost about 10 seconds. You're still a minute up. Well done. You just got to keep it on track for the next 2 minutes. As the leader is coming around. Yusa and Limpar. Okay, Yusa, let's see what you can do. 1 minute and 43, you've got a lap to go. A lap and a couple of corners. What can you do on these next 2 cars? Give it everything. I'm not sure that car's going to be handling entirely well. There you go. Starting your last lap. Give it everything. You got this. I mean, to be fair, that goes for Limpar as well. I mean, you've got your last lap. Keep it clean, but keep your head down and keep going. Has the Audi got anything? Ooh. Ooh, that was tight on the way through there. Audi tries to just sneak a nose up the outside, doesn't quite get enough of an overlap, and has to dive off the brakes. Dive on the brakes a little bit more to not run into the back of that Ferrari. Dived on the brakes, tried to go for it. There was not a gap there. Oh dear. Oh dear indeed. I think that's 2 very tired drivers, and the GT4 is out and running. 76 laps down. Oh, wonderful. Evidently just gonna finish a lap to be qualified. To be classified. Finish the lap they're on. They will have completed 2 laps by the end of this. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, fair play. You still got 6th. After everything that happened, you still got 6th. As the leader is just coming into the last corner now. And will run across the line to take the win. Very well done there. 81 laps in the books for that car, so extremely, extremely well done. And we shall hopefully see you for the next round. Like I say, there are going to be... Oh. There will be driver interviews after this one, so by all means feel free to pop in. I wouldn't be surprised if you're not. Ganley is right, Olsen is right on the back of... Hang on. No. Ganley... yeah, that's the McLaren. No, that's not... no, sorry, I was just looking at the gaps, and that was a bit wider of a gap on track than it looked on the timing screen. Very well done. Ganley's going to come back home in 13th. So yeah, Wilson, well done, mate. Absolutely well done. Well done. Massive respect to Romeo. You, even with everything that happened, you managed to pull the fastest lap of the race out, 44.250 in the end. So well done there. Yeah. So top 3 is the Matthias Linz. I apologies. Wilson, Gadgen, De Hoys, Van Niemen make up your top 5. 6th is Yusa, Bobra in 7th, Limpar, in 8th, De Groot in 9th, Bertling... But I'm sorry. Again, all the failings to words there. As everybody is just enjoying finishing that one. There is a couple of cars that we didn't finish, so 26 cars were due to start, 21 finished, by the looks of things. So, very well done to everybody there. I am going to jump onto that screen. If anybody wants to come join, feel free to. I'm sure those that have got drivers that need to, that need to grab a drink, debrief, etc., feel free to do so. We'll be around for a little bit after this one. Really well done to everybody involved there. All of you did amazingly well. And thank you to everybody that turned up and made it such a good race. As I say, that pace was phenomenal from the word go. Insanely fast, right? We've got a bunch of people. Okay, let's grab the two drivers that had the fastest lap of the race in to start with. So, there we go.
Copy that. We are checking it.
Hello.
Hello. I mean, that pretty much sums up how this has been going. Kudos on the fastest lap of the race in the end. What was it? 44.2, I think, in the end.
Yeah.
Fair play.
I told that we have to take the fastest lap, so we have at least 2 points.
Well done. I want to say genuinely massive well done to both of you. Really, really good racing by both of you to start with. And I just commiserations for what happened in the bus stop with back markers. Oh, how was it all the race from both of your point of view?
My first stint wasn't too bad. The Porsche in front of me was defending very well, so I had to stay behind. I wanted to try one time, and then I go you see on the bus stop and touch the wall, and then I get 10 seconds of damage, but I could stay on track, so it wasn't too bad.
Fair enough.
We had the pace, but we didn't have the luck, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the way it goes.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations to the winners.
Indeed.
Congratulations.
Stevens, how was that from your end of things? Or would you rather not?
So I basically, the first bit of damage that I got was from taking one of the curbs, and then it was like the one before the hairpin.
Yeah.
That exit curb, the very end of it is not flat, as I found out. So it launched the car into the wall, proper like kangaroo style. And then I got like 24 seconds of damage. I think I definitely should have pitted straight away, but I decided to just carry on, see how bad the damage affected pace, and it was pretty bad. I was like losing like a tenth a meter, something like that. And then I tried to defend my position going down towards the chicane, and I just, like, as soon as you touch the grass, it just sucks you in.
Yeah.
So I was stuck on the grass, like bouncing along, and then I was like, I need to brake now because I'm heading towards the chicane. But I couldn't like go to the left of me because there was a Bentley next to me. So when I slammed on the brakes, I just had no braking at all, and I just went straight into the back of, I think it was Hicks in the 65 car. Sorry to those guys, they just had a shit race for them. So I just made it a bit worse for them. But just went RTG'd, and then after 20 minutes back in the car, chucked Peter in the car to get the fastest lap, which we managed to do. So I think finished 17th, which means we got 2 points on the board already. So another 2 points from the fastest lap. That brings us up to 4.
It's something.
So it's something.
It's something, and it's better to start with some points than no points. So
yeah, that's true.
Indeed.
Yes.
So yeah, very well done to both of you.
Thank you
The next round is Hungaro. How do you feel about that?
Yep. Pretty well.
I've not driven Hungaroring in a while, so I'll definitely need to be doing some practice over the weekend.
Marvellous. Awesome.
I've had it pretty well. It's not a bad track.
No, it is a good fun
It's
track.
been practice, but it's real fun track. It's also a track. It's very difficult to overtake.
Yes, I think it's going to be made all the more fun by hopefully next week. We should get to the nighttime running, so that's going to make things a little more interesting as well.
Yeah. A bit more spicy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed. Right, we've got a few people to get through, so it's been lovely chatting to you, both of you. We'll hopefully see you both on the grid next week, and we shall.
And you will.
Enjoy the rest of your evening and have fun.
I have to take a shower now.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and thank you for the great stream again.
Thank you very much. Have fun, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Right. Let's grab you two in. Morris and Marsh.
Hello.
Hello! Sorry, it's probably a bit weird being halfway through a conversation and then suddenly, I'm somewhere else.
We just finished our conversation. It's all good.
How was that for yourselves?
Started unreal, unbelievable start. Didn't expect to be that high up, and then just crashed constantly every single.
Yeah, no, we qualified. Before we went, we're in the practice server, and we were both putting in like 148s, 147s. We're like, all right, this is decent. We'll be like low with the pack, and then we get into the qualifying. I'm in the first in the car, so I'm going to go around and do a lap, so I can put him in the car, so he's going to be faster. And for some reason, I just do a 146.
Wait.
I've ever been. Yeah, and then I couldn't match it because I'm rubbish. So,
I put us in 18th for qualifying, which was all right in my standards. I'm fine with that. That's good.
Yeah.
And then the incident happened where Scott didn't pit and change to me, so it was him starting the race.
Yeah.
Instead of me. We heard the confusion there, but then the race started, and the strategy was we wanted to keep our noses clean the entire race. So Scott is better at keeping his nose clean than me. So I mean, he's on the starting. We're fine. We're happy. We're like, oh my goodness, this is the best situation. And he goes up into 12th, and we're like, wow, we're in the top half. This is our first Toga race. We're in the top half. I can't believe this. We get rear-ended. We go into a wall. And severe damage, and then we are dead last.
Oh.
But what was it? Must have been like half an hour left. We realised that whoever was in 21st had had a massive accident and was stuck in the pits. Couldn't believe it. Told Ben to push, and then he just left, and it didn't even matter.
Our entire race was based on preying on second last's downfall all of the time.
Oh, brilliant. It happens, though. It happens.
It does.
We kept our noses clean in terms of other drivers. I think.
We did.
We pulled over for blue flags. We were just.
I mean, I think I might have suddenly bin someone into the wall by accident. I promise that wasn't my fault.
I wasn't watching when that happened.
Were you not? I think that might have been. It wasn't my fault. I spun and then he got collected. I think.
Was that not qualifying?
It might have been. You might be right. I'm thinking it's all mush now in my brain.
I'm not surprised it's mush. It's not been.
No, but we've been talking. Well, Davide, you'll be on next. I guarantee. He had a brilliant race, except for the fact that he was 22nd at last, and then somehow managed to get back up to 5th. How has he done that? How can he get from there to I don't understand that.
That car was just flying.
My small little racing brain cannot comprehend how he's done that.
Opposite races.
Yeah, well, it was up until right at the end, and then they managed to park it in a wall backwards.
Yeah.
To be fair, I parked on the wall on my second last lap as well.
Yeah, fair.
We didn't actually finish the race because Ben binned it into the wall.
Severe damage, and I started doing
severe damage.
That's a bit. So I was last over the line.
Oh,
brilliant! And then did donuts on the start finish straight.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you for having us. I appreciate it. That was brilliant.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Indeed. How has your first? Well, it sounds like you've had fun out there. First race with us here at Toga. Hope it's been enjoyable. It sounds like it's been not necessarily successful, but at least a giggle.
It's been a whirlwind.
We'll be back next week for the whole.
We will be. We will be better than 21st. That's for sure.
Hopefully. Maybe 20th. Next race.
We're aiming for 20th. One position every race.
I mean, it's a good way to go. It's a really good way to go.
It is. We'll be in 15th by the end. Oh, man.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, brilliant. So, yeah, no, really, really well done. I mean, just getting to the end, there was a good number of cars that didn't actually finish. So, yeah, well done on that.
A few that didn't even start in the end.
Yeah, there was a couple of cars that had internet issues and disconnects and bits before we even started. So, I think there was 26 that were due to start, and I mean, at least you finished.
21 finished.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, 22 finished because the GT4 came out. And
the GT4 came out and basically completed 2 laps.
Oh, what a guy. That was fantastic.
So, yeah. Indeed. Well, Hungaroring next week. Don't know that it's going to be myself. It might be somebody else on commentary. What does the calendar look like? Either way, it'll be one of us on commentary. It'll be fantastic to see you back out there.
Oh, we will be there no matter what.
Most improved over the season.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah,
it can't get worse than this. We've already hit rock bottom.
Things can only get better. Things can only get better.
Indeed, exactly.
That's true. That's true.
So, yeah, indeed. It's been lovely having you. I'm glad you have enjoyed your first race with us. And yeah, best of luck next week at Hungaro.
Perfect.
So yeah, do keep an ear open on the stream and what have you, and everything else. If you enjoy this, come join in with more stuff if you're enjoying it. Hopefully next week, all things being well, we should have all the nighttime running as well. So that'll be nice and exciting at Hungaro.
Halfway through.
Wonderful. Anyway,
thank you very much for having us.
You are quite welcome. Enjoy and go and chill out and enjoy your evening.
You too, man. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you.
Bye. Right. We'll grab Davide in. So yeah, that's been. They sounded like they had an absolute riot of a time. Doesn't always go to plan, even whether that's qualifying or race. Yeah, best laid plans. Best laid plans never survive first contact with the enemy.
See it.
Davide! Hello!
Good evening.
What a race! That had some ups and downs.
Yeah, yeah, it really had.
Oh, that was
First
so.
of all, sorry. First of all, I want to say that Alberto is not here. He's having a shower right now. So I told him I'm gonna go have the interview by myself, and he wanted to tell you guys that thanks for everything, and thanks for the race. It was our first race as VM Tech in a team event, and that's been very strange.
Fair enough. Hope it wasn't too horrible. It looked like not sure what happened at the start. You suddenly dropped back a long way early on, but managed to climb your way back through the field. How did all of that go?
Yeah, it went. Apart from the lap one crash, it was okay. I'm not gonna go into much detail for it, but I was in P3 at the start, and it was actually Alberto's credits for that, because he was the one that qualified us there. But I've got attacked from all the perspectives I could see from the cockpit. I saw only a sea of cars behind me that were trying to pass me, and one of those cars kinda turned in on me in a hairpin that spun me off, and I had to wait a lot of time to rejoin. All the cars went through, and then I rejoined. Then I had like 19 seconds of damage already. I knew that the race was gonna be like try to come back, try to do as much as you can, and this is the opening round, so we don't know the level of the field. We only know about Peter and the guys from Belgian racing team and other guys that we've raced against in other cities, but a lot of them I don't know. So yeah, it was let's see what happens. Let's try to optimize everything we can from the car. And I even left the repairs off for the pit stop, which was risky, because Alberto went in the car with full fuel and a car heavily damaged, which he didn't know how it handled, and managed to catch up with people, even though we had at that point 22 or something seconds of damage, and we were half a second lower in the straight. So yeah.
Fair dues. Fair dues. So yeah, really good comeback drive. As I say, you were absolutely flying. Did really, really well to hang on to the position in front of the Bentley there. What happened? It looked like you just ended up getting up over the curb and just lost the back end. Was it much more than that, or not?
At that point, I wasn't really looking the POV of Alberto, but he says that like the car there was stable every lap for 80 laps. Sorry, 79 laps, because that lap was a strange one for some reason, and it didn't touch the inside curb. It just slipped off, and for some reason, and yeah, it's something that can happen, but it's a very strange one. We don't have an explanation for that, really. But yeah, it happened. We tried to stay behind the leader that Lap does at that point, and we tried to stay behind him, and yeah, really bring it to the line and see if something something else happens. And it did. I'm really sorry for those guys, because it seemed like after I wrote in chat, it seemed like we were happy for another people crash, which is not the case. But I mean, in that position for us, it was like an advantage. It was something good for us, even though that's a sad thing to see two guys battling in front and crash out. It's not like we want to be unfair for them.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like I say, honestly, we were watching that one because it was getting interesting. I just looked like the Audi outbraked itself into that one. The Ferrari tried to cover the inside, and the Audi outbraked itself, and it was all said and done at that point. And gave you guys an extra couple of places. So I'm not quite sure. Did that manage to put you up into fifth? I've got you on the board.
Yeah, fifth. That was quite good, especially for championship perspective, because it's not gonna be. I'm not sure if we have a drop round this season, but if we do, we're not gonna spend it on this one. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were like to end up in a very low position, maybe that would have been the case. But now with P5, it's a good chance for us for the championship. And next round, even Alberto, he was saying, so we had the pace, even with damage. We know we can do better. We just have to pull off a good start, a good stay out of trouble as P1 did. They were that guy in P1 with that Porsche really did everything he could to stay out of trouble. Fair play to him. It was fast. It was consistent, and that's all it matters. I think we can do it too. I think we're gonna have to see for the next rounds. Maybe we'll have great battles. I hope so, at least, because I even have that thing on my liveries, on VMTech's liveries. It's enjoy racing. It's all we're here for, and even in these cases, we need to remember that we always enjoy racing, and we're here for that.
Indeed. So, yeah. Well, that's quite a race for yourselves. Glad you enjoyed it. How are you looking forward to Hungaro next week?
It's not our best track. It's not mine at least. But I'm gonna try to put a bit of practice in. And yeah, let's hope we can do better than this time. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, try our best. Let's hope to be in podium at least.
Indeed. Well, let's see what can happen. It does feel a little bit like a race of what could have happened. But yeah, indeed, well done. Well done on a fifth from basically back of the grid. By the end of the first couple of laps to finishing fifth. That's still a fantastic result. Very well done to both of you. And enjoy the rest of your evening. And we'll see you next week.
I will thank you, and thank you also for the support during the commentary. And that was very sweet of yours. And thank you for the race and everything. Thanks to Toga and to the viewers. See you next round, I think.
Indeed. All right, see you next week, and good night.
Good night.
Well, that was a hell of a race in the end. It came down to genuinely came down at the end to very little for a few drivers. And we will see you next week. Thank you to absolutely everybody who has joined in and joined along with us on stream tonight. It has been an absolute pleasure as usual. And we shall see you. I think it's myself down for next week. And we shall see you there next week. 1st of June. We've got the next round is that is tomorrow. The next race is the Sprint GT3 Sprint. Ollie will be streaming that one for you. Then we have the next round of the second round of the Duo Cup on the 2nd on the Sunday, and then on the 7th is the next race we have on the calendar, which is next Friday for the 24 and 2.4. So that will be next. That's the next week of streams that you'll see from us, along with the usual of either Hayden or Max antics on LFM, as and when they get around to doing that. So, from everybody here at Toga, massive thank you to everybody that turned up and raced, made it an absolute joy to commentate on, and thank you to everybody who has joined along in chat. And we shall hopefully have a lot of fun with you for the next couple of races. So for everybody here at Toga as well, and myself, good night, and have a lovely evening, day, whatever it is, whatever time of day it is where you are. Have a lovely time, and we shall see you next week.